Okay.
And now we're
So now we
actually
can.
recording.
Okay,
Yeah.
share your
Yeah.
thought. Share your thought.
Oh, I was gonna say, I almost totally forgot. I mean, when you're just BSing like this,
I
like
know.
you lose it pretty quick. But no, I was gonna say for the generation that grew up watching like South Park and Family Guy, to now spearhead the like offensive kind of thing, it's
God.
like what?
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
I just, it's the only reason I even have social media anymore is to promote my comedy shows and my podcast. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it.
Yeah,
Like a
for
lot
sure.
of my friends have deleted it, and I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking jealous of you guys.
It would be, yeah. We're in very much the same boat.
Yeah.
I've
Both
definitely
are-
thought about it, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
So thought.
In our real jobs and for the podcast sake, we kind of have to. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's just the world now.
It's a
but,
necessary evil now.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
it
sure,
is.
for sure.
Absolutely.
I hate it though.
But I mean, I'm sure you see that shit in the comedy world too. Is the whole like, oh, you can't say that on stage. It's
Oh.
like, come on, man.
Dude, I'll be honest, I'm probably the wrong comic to talk to this because
Yeah.
I'm a wuss. Like I'm
Oh,
a
really?
clean comic. I
You're
swear.
a wuss?
Yeah, I'm a total
You got
wuss.
this guy on our show?
Yeah, I know. And you're just like, this guy's gonna be awesome, and I'm like, I'm actually offended by a lot of the things you said before the show. And now that I've got a platform, no, I'm one of the cleaner comics.
Yeah,
Other than
for sure.
profanity, I work pretty
Yeah.
clean. But I have a lot of respect for people that don't.
Yeah,
The guys that really push the envelope and work dirty. And like, I have no patience for people that get offended at a comedy show. If you don't want a comic saying something, hire them.
Yeah.
And if you hire me, then you can say, hey, you can't talk about this, this, and this. And it's like, that's fine. I signed the
Yeah, yeah,
contract.
for
I
sure.
can't say
Sure.
it. But to me, if you buy a ticket to go to a comedy club,
Yeah.
you like, to me, that ticket comes with a waiver that says you have no right to be offended. Like, and if you're
Oh,
offended,
definitely.
then just like shut the fuck up. Like, keep it to, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need to hear about it.
Yeah.
If you want to walk out and say that guy wasn't funny, totally. I've had many people do that to me. Like, that's
Yeah.
totally fine. Do
Yeah.
that. But don't walk out and be like, I can't, like, you laughed at when I talked, you laughed about the fat jokes, you laughed about the bald jokes, you laughed about the gay jokes.
Yeah.
But then I made a joke about gluten and you lost your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
oh, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're right. And and we grew up with Family Guy and South Park.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And everyone was totally cool with it. I don't understand it. I just, people get offended for attention.
Yeah.
That's so
That's
true.
what it is.
Oh,
People-
absolutely.
Right?
That's-
Oh, God.
that pretty much puts the nail in the coffin right there, I think, actually. So
So when
it's,
you say you're a cleaner comic, do you do a
Is
lot of
that-
kids shows or like?
I've done some.
but is that by design though? Like the clean comedy? That's
well,
just
it like you don't really like. There's a saying that like you don't pick your style kind of picks you.
Okay.
And like I'm a huge Jerry Seinfeld fan.
I was about to say Seinfeld's all
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
clean,
He's
right?
my
So-
favorite. He's
Yeah.
my favorite. And like, and so just when I started writing jokes, like I tried to write dirty to start, and they were so bad, dude.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were just the hackiest. Like honestly, I swear to God, one of the first jokes I ever wrote was, I don't understand why guys can't figure out vaginas. I was like, they're just holes. And that was the joke. And it was so bad. And like it bombed. And I was like, this is such a great joke. I'm so dirty. And no, fuck no. So just like, so now like, I don't know if you guys can tell, like I've got a lazy eye. Like I'm looking at like you in the door right now. Right. So like I talk about that. I've got asthma. I'm short. Like that's my jokes
Yeah.
is that kind of stuff. I
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
for
money
sure,
and
for sure.
taxes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's just because that's where I'm comfortable. Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
We saw you one time at Station.
Yeah.
We thought you were fucking
Yeah, I
hilarious.
enjoyed it. It was
dude, I've bombed
good, I
there so
thought.
many times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Were you there on Sterling Scott's night, or which night were you on?
No,
No,
not
it was
when
the week before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
no.
they just had a good lineup or whatever.
Sterling smashes, man.
Oh god.
That guy's a monster.
Yeah.
He's so
he's
sick.
He's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. He because we had seen him before doing like it was like a spot, so he was clearly just like working on stuff or refining it. But then for that Christmas show when he did his like full set,
Yeah,
as far
yeah.
as I could tell, like it was pretty killer.
Buddy, yeah.
He's really good.
When he
So-
swings for the fences, I
Yeah.
mean, like honestly, like when he's just working on stuff, he's
Yeah.
better.
Oh, he's still funny
He's
anyways.
better than 80% of us.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
he brings his A game and swings,
Oh, yeah.
he's pretty untouchable,
Yeah.
right? I would say he's the best in Edmonton, but there are other headliners in Edmonton that would see this clip and be like, "Oh, I'm never fucking working
Yeah.
Adam Blank again. He's
Yeah,
not going
fuck
to." So, but he's one of the best for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he was working on content that night, and I think he ended the joke with like, "I don't even have an end to this joke, but you guys made it feel like it's got potential or something, and that's enough." And he's like, and that's the end of the show. It was
Beautiful.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
It was
like
good.
it was just like,
Yeah.
only this guy can make that hilarious.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
you know how good you have to be
Yeah.
to be closing out the show. And usually, like when you close out a show, you want to be the best comic, and
Yeah.
then no matter where you are, you want to close with your best joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like for him to smash so hard that he closes out the show with a thought and is like, "I don't even know how this is gonna end, but that's good enough. You guys are great." I'm like, if I did that, people would be like, "We're never working with this fucking guy again." But Sterling, you're like, "When can we get you back to hear the rest of that fucking joke?" I hate him,
Yeah.
but he's so good. He's so fucking. He's been doing it forever. He makes
Yeah.
it look so fucking easy, man.
Yeah, man, no kidding. We had you ever work with Leo?
Leo.
Yeah, younger guy. Leo, what's
Langford.
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 Yo, dude. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yes.
He came on our show. We did a long and hard like recap show for Sober October in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
He came on and he literally forgot a joke, and he was like, "I remember the joke," and you know how he.
Oh yeah.
His cadence of how
Dude,
he talks.
Oh my God,
my
man.
God, he's he's a newer comic,
Yeah.
and he's great, and
Yeah.
Dude, he's unbelievable.
I
he's so
really like
funny.
him, yeah.
He's got such a unique the way he talks and his
Yeah,
mannerisms.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
I judged a comedy competition last year at the Grindstone Comedy Festival,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Leo was in it.
Yeah.
And it was my first time ever seeing Leo.
Yeah.
And he goes up, and he finishes it. He comes off, and then they go to the judges every few comics, and they're just like, "So what do you guys think of the?" And when
Yeah.
they got to me, I was like, "Dude, Leo, you're like Rocky." I was like, "You're phenomenal." I was like, "My name is Leo, and my shoe is stuck in a tree." And I was like, and everyone I was like, "Dude, never change that. Like, never change that."
That's awesome.
And then he talks about how his name
Rocky.
is compared to Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles. He's like, "You know what the only other Leo is?" And it's like, it's Leo from the Ninja Turtles. And he's
Yeah.
like, "I can't beat that." And I was like, "Dude, I fucking love this kid." Like,
Well, I noticed your tattoo.
oh,
as
buddy,
well,
I'm a
so-
Ninja Turtle fanatic. It's
Oh, yeah.
way.
I'm a 36-year-old, 10-year-old. So, but we grew up with them,
Aren't
Yeah.
we all? in a
right?
way?
Like, who doesn't like the
Yeah,
Ninja Turtles?
yeah.
I mean,
So true.
Or I mean, people just kind of get bigger. You still love all your childhood
oh yeah,
things, right?
Yeah,
So
so
true.
yeah.
it's awesome. It's just, well, like, have you guys? I don't know, like, because you guys are 26.
Yeah.
So did you guys didn't grow up with like the 80s cartoon, then the early 90s like hokey Turtles cartoon?
No, they do like
No,
revamps
no.
every
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
5-10
Yeah, they
years
do.
though. Like,
Yeah, they
'cause-
do. Well, so like the O2 Turtles is the best one. That's
Okay.
the one where they have solid white eyes. They look a little bit more mature. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
But like I have the whole original 80s 90s series on DVD at home. I got it
Yeah.
as like a Christmas present for my mom.
Yeah.
And she
Cool.
was like, "Oh, you're gonna love it." It comes in like the old turtle van and stuff. And I was like, "This is so cool."
Oh,
and I
wow.
watched one of like the 30 discs, and I was like, "You know what? You're staying in my memories because
That's exactly.
this sucks." Like I was like, "This is not."
Yeah.
I was like, all you did was this. You just got me hooked on your fucking drip, and I was
Yeah.
like, "This is not good."
Yeah.
But I don't know. We all have that though. The shows
Yeah.
you watch as a kid, just don't go back.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Fuck no.
There's a lot of things that are like sometimes better left as memories. I remember one time I went camping, but I bought Pop-Tarts for whatever reason to eat the next day, and like me and my buddies are eating them, and we just kind of are like eating them, looking at each other, and we're like, I think we remember these being way better
Oh, buddy.
than they were.
I haven't had a Pop-Tart in 15 years.
Yeah,
That breaks my heart though.
leave
Just
it that way.
Like, I was like,
Yeah.
as you said that, I was like, "Fuck yeah, I could go for a Pop-Tart." And you're like, "No, you couldn't." Trust me, no.
It was a little underwhelming.
It's
so,
a really sugary cracker. It fucking sucks.
So you do a video game podcast. So do you do
Yeah.
a lot of reviews of, like older video games then too, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like, so the whole concept of like, so there's so many. I mean, we were talking about this.
because you're retro gaming specifically,
Yeah,
right? So do you
yeah.
have?
Fuck,
Do you
this
have kind
falls
of-
literally into what we were just talking about.
Well, yeah, exactly. It works really well.
Yeah.
But do you have like kind of boundaries for what you call like retro? I guess. Or
Oh.
Well, like, so in the community, I think most people consider like the Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube, that era. Anything
retro?
I think that's about the cusp. Like if you get any newer than that, that's not retro anymore. You know what I mean? Like we
That makes
primarily
sense.
yeah, like we try to do like the original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis,
Yeah. That
makes
PlayStation,
sense. Yeah.
right? That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So we try to stick to that old stuff, but there's so many fucking video game podcasts out there, like so many.
Yeah.
And so I was telling you guys, like I used to have a solo podcast that just sucked. It was it was so bad. And I was like, I really want to keep doing podcasts, but I was like, what do I? And the only other things I know anything about other than me, which was what the first podcast was about, which is why no one fucking listened to it. The only other things I know anything about are video games and pro wrestling.
Okay.
That's the only other things, and then I maybe comedy, and I honestly don't know that much about comedy. I don't know what I'm doing. So I was like, let's talk about video games. And so I listen to some retro video game podcasts, and they're like I don't know how to like they're like history lessons. You know, they're like, oh well, so in 1986, so and so in Japan thought
Started
a great game
designing
about this and this, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't want to do that because I don't want to do homework because that's fucking boring.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what video games are. Like homework
Exactly.
is the antithesis to video games, really.
Like
right?
I have no
So-
interest in
so-
doing that shit. And
yeah.
frankly, I don't even want to listen to it. Like, I don't care. I want to
Yeah.
know about the game. And so like I came up with the name. It was the reason we call it Remember the Game is because I was like, I want it to be a podcast where it's just nostalgia, where I'm like, hey, do you remember the game Mega Man? Like, do you remember the game Sonic?
Yeah,
and,
yeah, for
and
sure.
then actually one of my buddies was like, dude, you should just call it Remember the Game. And so that's what it is. And every week it's just a pal of mine and I. We have no notes. We do no homework other than maybe I replay the game
Right.
if I have access to it.
Yeah.
And we interrupt each other, and like, you know, when you get really excited about something and you're sitting
Yeah.
around with your buddy and you're like, oh, you remember this thing? And you remember that's all it is. And we get so worked up. And so if it's a good game, we get excited about like, oh, I remember like in Super Mario World, you could get a cape and you could fly. That was so fucking cool. And then if it's a bad game, it's the only thing I get fired up about. I think it pisses my girlfriend
Gets
off because
pissed off.
she's like, we can get like bent over by like a bank or something and you don't even blink. You're just like, oh, I don't know. I guess that's what we have to pay. But she's like, God forbid Nintendo doesn't put a star in this level of your game. And I'm like, well, it's terrible fucking design. And I paid for it. So that's all it is. It's old games and it's
Yeah.
just me and my buddies arguing about them, frankly. And we do, and I'm gonna call it Pop-Tart syndrome. We run into that sometimes where like you remember this game like being so badass, and then you fire it up and play it, and you're like, this sucks. And
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's like, and it hurts
Yeah.
because I don't want to go on there and be like, hey, my most treasured childhood
Yeah.
memory is shit. But
Yeah, fair enough.
it
Yeah.
is.
So what's your favorite game of all time?
Super Mario World.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Super Nintendo.
Fair.
That game is to me
Right.
that game is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like so that was the game we did for episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucked. Like we were talking about the early days of your
Oh, yeah.
podcast
Yeah.
and how you're still learning what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I had the guest actually yesterday. I had the guest from episode 1 on the show to do an episode. It's like episode 83 or 84.
Sure.
And we were
Yeah.
talking about how bad episode 1 was. And he was like, you know what it is? He's like, that's season 1 of The Simpsons of your
Yes.
podcast.
Yeah,
where he's like,
exactly.
you don't
Yeah.
really you're like
You're figuring it out.
You're right. Because
Yeah.
like, are you guys Simpsons guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody is, right?
Yeah,
At least
for
for the
sure.
good years, anyway.
Yeah.
You go back and watch season 1 now, and you're like,
This was funny.
Yeah, you're
Right?
like, this
how,
sucks.
how did they get season 2 out of this?
you're right.
Right?
Like, they're
So-
made of rubber, and Homer's voice is weird, and you're
Yeah,
like, what the
yeah.
fuck is this? But yeah, so we did Super Mario World for episode 1, and at the end of every episode, we give it a score, and we just pick a random. Like it could be like there's 86 levels, so how many levels out of 86 would you give this game? Like we always pick just a random thing.
Yeah.
But Super Mario World got a perfect score, and I swore I would never give
Another
game a perfect score. And there's probably been another half a dozen where I'm like, the only reason you're not getting a perfect score is because I swore I'm a man of my word.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
yeah.
fuck, I don't know. Are you guys big gamers? Like you guys have?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
We, I mean, I would say,
Not so much anymore. But
yeah,
like,
not anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
But
'cause
grew up doing it,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely, and even in moderately recent years, right? So, and like, just because, how do I put this? Like because that Xbox, GameCube, PS2 age was kind of our like adolescent years, so we're kind of like right on the fringe of some of those retro games
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
what we came up with. Like we
Right.
missed a lot of the 64-bit stuff and all
yeah.
that.
Like I played them, but like I
Yeah.
don't remember
Yeah.
them. if
Yeah.
that
Fuck,
makes
that's
sense.
so like,
Yeah.
because when I said that was retro, and you're like, what? And I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck you mean, what? Yeah, those are retro. But then I thought I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you guys grew up
Yeah.
playing those.
Well, it
But
makes me feel
I
old
would
to think
consider
of
it
Xbox
retro.
as retro.
Yeah, yeah.
It is.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you because I listened to your episode on Halo 1,
Yeah.
right? And that
Oh,
was
fuck yeah.
but I only ever played because I actually I only ever played Halo kind of retroactively. Like I started at Halo 3 and then what was that?
I don't know.
It was a ghost. I hit what the fuck
something
was
fall
that?
over?
Something did just fall over there. That TV screen thing fell over.
This one here?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it didn't break.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think.
Oh, okay. That's
We're fine.
Interesting.
As long as the ceiling is still up, we're
Where's
good.
a
Yeah.
ghost?
Okay, well, I gotta go.
I'm like, what the fuck did we just break that we have to pay Josh's dad back for? But,
Sorry to interrupt you with the ghost.
what was I
You
saying?
were talking about playing Halo.
Oh
retroactively.
yeah, yeah.
retroactively,
So
yeah.
so I kind of only played those games like after playing Halo 3, so I didn't play them until I was like a little bit older, kind of thing. But yeah,
Loser.
I know. I wasn't allowed to play M-rated games till I was like 15, 16, because then the rating was like 17 plus, so I could be like, okay, mom, like I'm
Right.
close enough.
Yeah.
Jesus,
She's like,
you guys make me feel so fucking old.
Dude, well, Halo 1 would have came out 2001,
Yeah.
and I would have been 7 fucking years old.
I just graduated high school when
Yeah.
fucking Halo came out,
Yeah, dude.
and like, why? Why am I the old guy now? What the fuck happened?
Well, that was
we
the
can
whole
still
thing.
reminisce. I don't know. Like I've listened to a few of your episodes. I quite enjoy it, and
Yeah.
then because Would you say you're a little more of like a Nintendo guy?
I'm I'm a fanboy through and through. Yeah, Nintendo.
Because a few of those, like, we never had N64 or GameCube at my house. Like, we were always Xbox. Right. So I only ever played those games like when I went to a friend's house, kind of thing. Right. It's not quite my. That's not my team so much. Not that I don't enjoy those, but
no, I get it though. Like, because I'm the same way with like Atari and like those old. Like I had an original Nintendo when I was like 4 or 5. I played Super Mario Brothers, right? And that's when I started. Yeah. And so like when I do get someone that messages me and they want to come on and talk Atari, I'm like, that's too old. I don't fucking play that. Like, you know what I mean? So like when you guys are like, the Xbox is where I started. That's holy fuck. I was in high school when the fucking Xbox.
See, I got a lot of Super Mario World through Game Boy games, like Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, because they remade them all the time or whatever. So I definitely played a lot of those older ones, but they were new to me at the time, I guess, right? So
well, they're timeless. Everybody's played Mario.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, Mario is a fucking icon, man. It's timeless. So
you can't go wrong with that. So
what, you got a favorite game?
I was going to ask you first, but yeah, I think actually Halo is probably my favorite game of all time.
Halo's pretty rad. Dude, Halo built the Xbox wouldn't exist today without Halo.
Yeah, well, Halo also almost built like how first-person shooters work now.
Yeah,
too.
it did. Dude, like, because you said you guys didn't have a 64 back then. Like, the first-person shooters I remember playing was like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
On my 64. I do exactly remember that.
And it was one joystick and then those buttons, right? And then I remember going to my buddy's place and playing Halo. Yeah. And it was like every game is that two-joystick thing now, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, what the fuck? This is weird. Why the fuck would anyone make it like this? And Halo revolutionized it. It's a like, I mean, there's a lot of PlayStation fanboys out there that shit on. Like, I'm not, listen, when I say I'm a Nintendo fanboy, like, I have a PlayStation, I have an Xbox. I'm a nerd. I just love Nintendo more.
For sure.
But like to deny what Halo did is blasphemy. Like, fuck off.
It pretty much made like the first person shooter 3D almost how it could be.
And like effectively.
Yeah. Like, and immersive. It stands up.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that game is still fun to fucking it's so much fun to play today.
Yeah. So how about you?
I would say the same at the risk of sounding like a copycat, but granted, so I would say Halo, but then close second for my favorite series is Mass Effect, for sure.
Oh,
I don't know. Did you ever play?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you ever played that.
No, I tried to get into it. I was like, no.
Yeah.
One was good, albeit a little slow at times. Yeah, two, Mass Effect 2 is one of the greatest video games ever made. It's absolutely a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And then
3 was good. Like 80% of the way through, and then they kind of ruined it.
Right? It's that fucking. I know, and I was like, I don't know how they could have ended it to make it good, especially when the ending to Mass Effect 2 was so spectacular, where you do that raid, and it's all depending on what team you built and who's like, and then 3 was just the bar was too high. Yeah, it was impossible.
True, for sure.
Good. Oh, dude, Mass Effect. Yeah. Fuck yeah, good pull. That was well done.
Thank you.
The hours I spent between Halo, like the series of Halo, and RuneScape. I could probably get 3 years of my life back.
Oh, dude.
Absolutely.
Is it? Like, you know what? Okay, so it's funny you say that because I struggle with that because like I've said before, like, dude, the amount of hours I put into playing Tony Hawk games, I could speak a second language if I put that time into learning. Like, you know, like it's so, and instead I can't even stand up on a skateboard. Yeah. But if you're like, here's a controller, can you do some tricks? I'm like, oh, I'll fucking show you. You know what I mean? Like the most useless thing there is. And one of the things I struggle with a lot, legit, because like I consider myself a borderline video game addict. Like I'm always thinking about them. I play. That's all I do. I don't watch TV. Yeah. I read, but if I'm not reading, I'm playing a video game. Like that's all I do. And I legitimately think about that sometimes. And I'm like, is this a problem? Like, am I wasting too much time? Especially now that I don't have a day job and I just do comedy. Yeah. Like I'm home all day. Yeah. Every day I gotta send emails and do my writing and and comedy stuff. Yeah. But from the minute I wake up, I'm trying to be like, okay, what's the least amount I have to get done before I can play some video games? And it's a problem. Like, it is a problem. But I'm like, I don't want to quit. It's too much fun. And it doesn't. I don't feel like it's ruining my life. I don't miss gigs because I'm playing video games or anything like that. And frankly, like, is video game addiction? Like, I mean,
it's a topic of much debate.
It really is. Yeah. And there's certainly worse things like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not putting a needle in my arm or I'm not going to the casino every night and blowing all my money. I just really like to play video games. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
that's totally fair.
Yeah. So who cares?
Yeah.
But
I just laugh to myself sometimes. I'm like, 125 days played or whatever.
Like,
oh shit.
That was like, or especially games where like, because some games you could go and look at your time played, but you had to like get into it.
Yeah.
But because I played Skyrim quite a bit, and on the save file, it tells you how many hours and minutes you have played, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
That's normal now. Nintendo now, I just got it in January. They email you like your Nintendo year. and it shows you all the hours you played and the most games you played.
No way.
And dude,
Wow.
I played over 700 hours of Switch this year, which I
Shit.
broke down by day. And I'm gonna throw my nephew under the bus because when he comes to visit, he plays my Switch.
Sure.
So I was
Okay,
like, a
okay,
week of that
okay.
is him.
Okay.
A week
Alright,
of that.
alright.
Okay,
But I
fair
added
enough.
it up. It was 28 days of the year I spent playing Switch. And I was like, that's too, like, that was when I was like, fuck, and that's just my Switch. That's not my Xbox or
Yeah.
anything. I was like, I play a lot of retro games now, like
Yeah.
for the podcast and shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, that's a lot of video game. But I was like, but is it
Yeah.
a problem? Like, I'm not.
Right,
like,
right, yeah.
I don't know if it's, I don't know, maybe it is. I don't
Well,
know.
that is because you even touched on it, because that is, like, obviously, video game addiction, pretend it's real for a minute, it's not as, like, your body won't develop a physical dependency, per se, compared to, like, heroin
or something. Yeah.
right?
It's always heroin.
Yeah.
Heroin's always,
Yeah.
like, it's never crack. It's always
Yeah,
heroin. That's the one.
That's the bar. But from that, how do I say this? Like, the kind of threshold of addiction is if you are missing work and it's affecting the rest of your life in a negative way, right? Like, you're letting it affect your essentially basically quitting what you're doing. Sorry, this guy's fucking
I know.
yeah.
I was watching
media
the whole
whore,
time.
It's
bro.
good. It's good.
But there are people that do.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I mean, there's
for
like
sure.
websites about like World of Warcraft widows or something, and it's people that like have missed their
damn.
weddings and
Wow.
shit to fucking play World of
Holy
Warcraft.
shit.
And I'm like,
Holy
listen,
Seriously, is that a
I
real?
swear to God, look it up. And like,
Wow,
and
I
I would
gotta-
never. I'm never gonna make fun of someone for the games they want to play because I'm
Yeah,
a video game
yeah,
geek.
for sure.
I love it. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I know World of Warcraft is even in a
is.
nerdy hobby. It's the nerdiest of the
Yeah.
nerdy hobby.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
exactly.
dude, I don't care. Go play if that's what the game
Yeah,
you
if
like.
that's
Go
what you
play
like,
World of
sure.
Warcraft.
Yeah.
But when you're missing your wedding or missing out on shit to play World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
like,
I think that's
Damn.
maybe that's when you could
That's,
say you have a problem.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
bad.
Yeah.
Or just like either a legitimate problem or just kind of ridiculous, like seriously. But
It's a little
yeah.
bit of both.
Yeah, yeah,
But like,
absolutely.
But
yeah.
now the problem is it's bleeding into like because now with video game, first of all, having games on this fucking thing, right?
Sure,
Like everyone
yeah.
has got
It's with
a
you.
mini arcade in their pocket,
Yeah.
and all the games today are designed to get you to buy loot boxes and buy items and spend money on
freemium.
that.
Let's get fucking into that, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
Let's
and
get into that for
that's
sure.
a problem.
Yeah.
Like that is fucking ruining people's lives, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
one thing to be a dude in your 20s or your 30s and be like, I don't want to go to the bar tonight, or I don't want to go to the Oilers game tonight, which you fucking nobody wants to go to an Oilers game anymore anyway. But you're like, I want to stay home and play Halo. It's like, okay,
Sure.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when you're 10 and you have no self-control at all, like when I was 10, my mom at points would come down and turn off my Nintendo and be like, go outside.
Yeah.
And that'd
Yeah.
be fine. I'd
Oh,
go
yeah.
play street
Yeah.
hockey and it'd be
Yeah.
fine. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you do that to a kid when as soon as you turn off their phone, they'll grab their iPad. If they
Yeah,
turn off their
yeah.
iPad, they'll grab dad's phone. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then when they get on these phones, they can gamble. Because they can buy loot boxes and buy items and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like kids can gamble now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's stories of people spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on these
Because their
items
kid
and
was
shit.
on Candy Crush or whatever.
Candy
Yeah.
Crush, dude.
Yeah.
It's and that's becoming a
Clash
problem.
of Clans.
But
or
it's not
something
even
like
on
that.
this too. It's like on legitimate games that you're buying and actually paying $60 for a AAA game.
Oh,
They're
fuck.
having the huge issue with Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
that was the notorious example
Yeah.
for sure.
FIFA is another one.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, right.
Every like
Actually,
well, I-
yeah, or like, is NHL the same? You
Yeah.
buy like the card packs
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
And it's just it's gambling. It's
Yeah.
it literally is
I
gambling.
guess it is. Yeah.
And you're
I didn't
and,
even think of it
and
that way.
it's one thing if I have minimal sympathy for a 30-year-old adult
Sure.
that can't control their impulses and buys too many loot boxes in Fortnite. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
should have turned it off. But like it's different when you're 12 and you don't know. And you can say, well, it's up to parents to watch them and stuff like that. But come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my mom
Oh, yeah.
didn't watch me play
We're
my
not there
fucking games
the
all the
whole
time.
time, right?
It's,
So-
that's becoming, and I don't know what they do. Like we've talked about it on my podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
people have been like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, because the companies are entitled to make money, right?
Sure.
Like that's
Yeah.
their livelihood.
Yep.
They have a legitimate argument in saying that the parents should make sure the kids can't get into it,
Mm-hmm.
but they do everything in their power to make it where like. Every time you go to a load screen or wait for a game to start or something, they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
buy some costumes,
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
the-" you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
and they make it flashy and easy
Yeah.
to do, and
Yeah.
and it's 2 clicks. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even a process. It's such an easy impulse buy now, right?
Absolutely.
So that's a problem. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where video game addiction is going to go. It's not about playing games. It's about you're buying too much shit in your video
yeah,
games.
true.
Yeah. I think the issue too is like, well, maybe if you're going to actually do that feature, then you need them to be, well, if it's gambling and if it's legislated as gambling, then maybe oh well, you can't have that feature until you actually prove that you're
age verified.
Yeah,
18 or whatever or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
In theory, you can always just scroll down on the age thing, or just take your
Yeah.
parents' credit card, or
that's
whatever,
it, right? And
So-
it's becoming because more and more countries are talking about legislation when it comes to this kind of
Sure.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's a tricky slope though, because it's like on one hand you're right, but on the other hand, who like is the government allowed to step in and tell a business, hey, you can't sell your product?
Can't
Yeah.
make
You know what I
money that
mean?
way.
Like you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah,
you
for
can't,
sure.
like. So it's like, hey, the government, we can sell all the cigarettes we want to sell that are killing people, and we'll make a fortune off of them. But you can't sell costumes in Fortnite. That's
Yeah.
ruining lives.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make that argument? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, for
and I know
sure.
a kid can't walk into a store and buy cigarettes. I understand that, but technically, a kid can't log on to Fortnite and buy the costume either.
Yeah.
It's just easier for them to do it. So.
I think it's
Yeah.
also become the choice of revenue for a lot of these companies too, because it's continual revenue. Where it's
It
like
is.
Versus a one-time
$60
buy.
game plus.
Dude, it is. It is. Like Nintendo, like has been. They were the last, like, one of the last companies to kind of get on board with this stuff.
Sure.
And like, I'm proud of them. Like, I'm proud to be a Nintendo fan for that. They put out a quality product. Their games will hardly ever drop in value.
Yeah.
Like, if you went to the store right now, EB Games, and tried to buy like a 5-year-old Nintendo game, you're still gonna be playing pretty close to full price.
Really?
Yeah, they don't fuck around because they know that the game is you're going to get a quality product for your money. But now they've started to release mobile games. There's like a Dr. Mario game, there's a Mario Brothers game, there's Mario Kart, stuff like that. And I read and I'm pulling the numbers out of my ass, but they made like over $1 billion in in-game purchases last year. And you know that that's not all adults, right? So now
Right,
even
yeah,
they've
yeah.
realized, like, at the end of the day, this is an incredibly lucrative financial
Yeah.
stream, right? Like how right there's so much revenue in it. How the fuck? And I don't know, how do you tell a company they can't do that? I don't know how you. Like, is
Yeah.
that not?
Oh,
are
yeah.
you kind of stepping on toes doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. It's a funny predicament how like it's gone. Like games are, it's not your $60, $69.99 game or whatever anymore. It's like free upfront, and then you're like, oh, it's a free game. But
Yeah.
then when you think about it, like, you know, Fortnite, like I played that a few summers ago when it was popular, and by the end of it, I kind of went back and looked. I'm like, fuck, I spent almost $200 on this
man.
game, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
and that's a free to play
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
man.
exactly. So-
that has become like a lot of companies. That's the new. You
Yeah.
make it free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then anyone can play it.
Yeah.
And then you get them, right? You get them hooked, and it's just
Yeah.
I hate it. I
Yeah.
hate that. That's what I love about old games. Is like
Mhm.
I go and play Super Mario World,
Yeah.
and whatever I paid to get my hands on Super Mario World, that is it.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
no updates, and there's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
fucking DLC or anything.
Yeah.
It's
There's something to that, because my thing is like the endless world of an online game, like whether it's Call of Duty or whatever, like just online multiplayer, like it's an endless vortex, right? There's
Yeah.
no real finish line, right? Even
Yeah.
if you get to the highest level, you can still just play all the time, right? Versus Super Mario World has like a start and an end kind of thing, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's easier to kind of be like, okay, I'm done with this for today, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I've
gonna
given-
go to sleep.
I've given up
So-
endless games. I
Yeah.
don't play them anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play sports games anymore. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
sports games, and I don't play them anymore. I don't play like Minecraft. I actually really got into Minecraft for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys,
Nice.
because I know a lot of people laugh at me when I tell them that, but I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
if you've never played, it's video game Lego.
Oh, I know
Fucking-
it's for sure would
fucking
be
incredible.
Yeah.
PewDiePie made his
Yeah.
entire career on that.
Dude,
Yeah.
he made a lot of money
Well, he made
playing
a
fucking
huge,
Minecraft.
huge comeback. Well, it was even in the, sorry, not to totally go off topic, but because in YouTube Rewind last year or whatever, they were talking about the most popular games, and the crazy part is Minecraft actually was, and like that game came out in 2011 or something
Dude,
like that.
yeah.
Right. So
That game, like, the guy sold it to Microsoft. The guy that originally created Minecraft sold the company. I can't remember the name of the company. Maybe
is it
Mahjong
Mojang or something?
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, something like that. He sold it to Microsoft.
Oh,
so
really?
now Microsoft owns
Ah.
Minecraft, and they've put it on everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a cool thing because, like, you don't see like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are the three big game companies, and you're not going to see Mario on Xbox. You know what I mean? You're not going to see Halo on a PlayStation. A lot of those exclusive things are exclusive. Minecraft is on everything because
Right,
Minecraft has
right.
become such a phenomenon that Microsoft is like, well, why the fuck would we not want to sell this game to everybody? You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
so much money to be made in it. But I try to stay away from those endless games because
Yeah.
I hate the feeling of playing 4 hours of a game and then I'm like, I didn't even get any closer to finishing the game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I
I
have so much
literally
to
did
do.
nothing.
Yeah,
I just spun
yeah.
my tires.
But a lot of games are going that route too. Like, there's almost no campaign in a lot of these online games.
More and
anymore.
more of them, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. And I just, like, I don't play a lot of online shooters
Yeah.
or anything. Partially because I'm fucking terrible, dude. Oh my god, I'll tell you, like, when you fucking log on to like Call of Duty and you get just worked by some 12-year-old that's calling me like the most vulgar names, that I'm like, how the fuck do you even know what that word means? And they're
Yeah.
throwing these
Where do you
words at
hear
me.
that?
Yeah, and I'm like, don't you have to like go to school, and then they're like, don't you have to go to work? And I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, just log off. I'm like,
This is work.
Yeah, like I am working. Shut the fuck up. It's just, I don't. It's games have changed so much. It's just, but the thing that's cool about it is it's not lame to play video games anymore. Like it was. Like when I was a kid,
Absolutely. Yep.
if you was like I was a Nintendo fan and like I was a nerd. Like I was a loser. Whereas now, like it's so mainstream. Like it's
Absolutely.
I sit here right now and say like, I love playing Xbox and Switch and stuff. People are like, it's video games. That's what
why
everybody.
not? Right? I have one at home, right? So a lot of people do, right? So
it's fucking whole new world, man.
You do PC gaming?
No. I catch shit for that too.
PC Master Race.
PC Master Race.
Yeah.
You fucking, they're still the geeks of a non-geeky. You know
would
what
agree.
it is? I don't get it. I don't get it.
No.
I do not. And I don't mean I don't get the cool, because I'm like, dude, I would love to have like a fucking computer that could do everything and I could stream and record and all that stuff. I don't understand. When I looked into buying a computer about a year ago, and my buddy was like, well, you got to have a processor that does XYZ, and I need a SSD, HD, memory sticks. And I'm like, I just want to buy the game and put it in my thing and play
all
it.
things.
Yeah.
Those are all things, yes.
Like, I don't know.
Those are real words.
I don't get it.
I'm totally the same. Like
Buddy.
and I don't think of gaming as like this. Like to me, it's
Bruh.
this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's because you guys have never played a game in 1440p at 144 hertz.
Oh, fuck.
So I'd say that is.
I think you just insulted me, but I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm like, what'd you call me? Like, I don't know what that is.
Who do you call?
I've never understood. Dude, it's crazy being a gamer like I am. I don't understand technology. Like, we were talking about this before we started the show, like with podcasting. When I decided I wanted to podcast, I bought like a couple of mics and a stand, and I bought a little mixer and everything. And I basically locked myself in a room for like 2 days and just YouTube and Googled, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to fucking do this. And I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I at least have a basic concept of it.
You can get something out there though.
I can. You can hear my voice. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how, but you can. I don't know how this works, but you can fucking hear it. I've never understood technology. The only cool thing now is with YouTube, you can literally learn how to do anything.
So true, man.
Right?
Oh my God,
yeah, exactly. Right.
Like, are you guys handy? Like, are you guys good with your? Like,
No,
you guys...
but I could be, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
I'll YouTube it, right?
Dude, that's it, man. Like, it's like there's no excuse anymore.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no other than if you don't want to try. You know, like my girlfriend and I had a leaky toilet like 3 or 4 years ago, and my girlfriend right away was like, "Adam, please just call somebody," because she knows, like, please don't. Like, and I was like, no. You know what? We have a second bathroom where, if worst case, you can still use that. I am gonna fix this fucking toilet, and it literally took me like 12 hours. I had to go to Home Depot 3 times because I bought the wrong parts twice. I had this whole toilet like off the floor, like rebuilding it, all just to replace the seal at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I put it all back together, and I was like, "You ready?" And Shaylee, like my girlfriend, was just like, "No, I don't even want to be near this." And I flushed it, and nothing happened. And I was like, I literally cannot swing a hammer, and I fixed the fucking toilet because of YouTube.
Feels good, bro.
Very satisfying.
I felt like I was just walking around flexing. I was like, I'm a
so
man.
Good. It does feel good.
We so one of our first business ventures together with another friend of ours years ago, in the summer we made like an irrigation company, like little lawn irrigation systems for like houses, and we had and then we came up with this idea. It's like, okay, does anyone know how to install an irrigation system? No.
That's beautiful.
YouTube, right? And then there were a few times where we were there and we were doing a job like in someone's yard, and we're like, how the hell do we hook this fucking thing up again? And then we'd like make sure they're nowhere near the owner, and just a YouTube video how to do it.
Are
like
you
right
fucking
there.
serious?
Yeah, bro.
That's
We
phenomenal.
made it work, and we made money doing it. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, YouTube's amazing.
It's like
That's fucking
15
sick.
Genos in a summer, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so sick. But you can. Oh
Yeah.
fuck! Wow.
Anybody who says they can't learn anything is, you're worse.
You gotta
than,
try.
You're not trying.
Yeah.
That's right. You may not become a master at it, but you can
you skip.
survive it. That's
yeah, for
fucking
sure.
holy cow! What a great story. I'm gonna do that when comedy slows down in the summer. I'm gonna start Adam's what is it? Interrogation.
Irrigation.
Interrogation.
Well, you could probably Google how to interrogate somebody too. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll start Adam's interrogation.
There you go.
Think your boyfriend's cheating? Hire Adam's interrogation. We'll fucking get it out of him.
I like that.
And then I'll tell him, just a minute, I'm gonna YouTube how to get this fucking information out of you. So
yeah, excuse me. You know, like in the they go in the room behind the like two-way mirror or whatever. Like just go back there, like watching YouTube videos.
You've got the iPad out.
Just turn around in your chair.
You're holding the pliers, watching the video, and you're like, okay. All right. Ooh, fuck. Okay. Dude, I did a show in St. Paul a few weeks ago, St. Paul, Alberta, and I was at like a brewery. and it's in like a strip mall.
Yeah.
And in the strip mall, there was a heating and plumbing company, and it was called OK. Here's your shout out, OK Heating and Plumbing.
Sure.
That was what it was called.
Nice.
And I saw it right away, and I said to one of the comics I was with, I was like, that's the sweetest name because he has set the bar so fucking low for his services.
Was it the letter O?
I swear, it
or
was
was it like
OK.
OK? What?
No,
okay.
OK Heating and Plumbing. And so during the show, I was like, hey, is there any chance, like, is the owner of OK Heating and Plumbing here? And the whole place goes crazy and points at this guy. And I was like, dude, you own OK Heating and Plumbing? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, why okay? Like, why not really good heating and plumbing?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, did you get your who put your plumbing in? Okay, how was it? It's all right. I was like, what a sweet name. Just set the bar middle of the road. And then later on in the show, this dude hands me his business card while I'm on stage, and the phone number is crossed out and has been written in pen. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, the business card place fucked up my phone number. And I was like, well, did you order them from OK Business Cards? And like, we all had a big laugh. And I just, maybe that's what he does. And that's like, and that's what got me thinking about it, was he actually has no idea how to do heating or plumbing, set the bar low, and then he just shows up. And like, part of the deal is you need to give him your Wi-Fi so that he can look up how to do what it is you need him to do. That's what a sick thing. And you know what? I bet you there's a trillion companies out there now that are doing exactly that.
They're basically a middleman for YouTube.
That's it, or they're the one that's willing to try.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Like,
get their
because you said it.
Dirty, right?
So many people aren't even willing to try. That is like, I don't give a shit what it is. I don't care if it's podcasting or comedy or interrogating or fucking or whatever it is you want to do. Like, just if people aren't even willing to try, and then they just say, well, it's gonna be too hard. I can't do it. And you would be, and I don't want to sound like a fucking Buddhist or Joe Rogan or anything, but like, you would be floored at what you can do if you just try. Like, just fucking.
So how'd you get into comedy?
Yeah, I was
YouTube?
reading because you started it a bit like later,
a lot later.
On.
Man. It so like when I was like a high schooler, I had one of those. You guys are young. I had one of those old Panasonic Discmans, like the shock ones. You guys remember those? The bright yellow ones with the two clasps.
Yeah.
And I would keep it in my baggy jean pocket because we wore those huge jeans in high school. Yeah. And I would listen to "I'm Telling You for the Last Time," which is Jerry Seinfeld's album, and I literally would lip sing that album like the same way you would lip sing like music. I would fucking just be walking and I'd be pretending that like I just loved it. And I always thought like, dude, I could do that job. You know what I mean? I'm like, I suck at sports. I can't fix anything. Not that good looking. I'm probably slightly below average intelligence. I was like, but I can talk. And I was like, I know I could be a comedian. And then I just never did it. And my girlfriend, like, so I got out of high school and I started working in a warehouse, driving a forklift. And I drove a forklift for the better part of 15 years. That was just all I did. And I met my girlfriend, and we used to go to Yuck Yucks all the time and just watch the comedy. Like, I tell the comedians I work with now that I probably watched half of them way back and just have no idea. I don't remember.
Right,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And we'd always go. And every time we leave, she'd be like, you should try that. And I'm like, yeah, I should. And then I just wouldn't do it. Because it seems so, you're like, how does anyone do that?
Yeah,
like, how do you
absolutely.
fucking become a comedian? Yeah. And that's what I always thought, right? And then I you know what? I can slam a company, right? Like, it's like I used to work at. I'm not going to say anything that'll get us sued. I'm just going to say they suck.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had a job in sports memorabilia that I really liked. It was the only non-warehouse job I had, and I really liked it. But the money wasn't great. You're just doing it for a passion thing. And so I needed to start making more money. So I got a job at ULine. I don't know if you guys know ULine.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
you guys aren't like sponsored by you. I can shit on ULine.
No, we're not.
Nope.
Good.
Well, fuck.
Cancel our meeting on Monday, but
yeah.
No, just kidding.
Okay. I was like, because I don't want to ruin any lives here.
No, please go ahead.
So I applied for a job at ULine, and they're a massive company.
Yeah.
Like shipping supply. I guarantee you, people listening to this are like, I've had those fucking catalogs. I hate those fucking catalogs. And I applied for the job, and they interview like 20, 30 people at a time, and they do it 2 or 3 days a week. Like, they interview and then you have to do all these like math tests and all these fucking like it's a really vigorous like hiring process for a warehouse job. And I got the job. I had a lot of experience. I got the job, and I was like, fuck yeah. And it was the best paying job I'd ever had. But the hours were just fucking stupid. Like, it was expected overtime, expected weekends. And I hated it. Like, so many people have jobs they fucking hate, right? And it was like a midlife crisis. I was like 31, and I was like, is this my life for the next 30 years? Because I hate this company. I don't want to be here. Like, what do I do? And I got thinking, like, dude, oh man, like, what if I did comedy? And so in January, it wasn't a New Year's resolution. I just, like, one day, like, on a whim, I was like, I'm gonna go fucking try comedy. And it was January 21st, 2016. I went to Yuck Yucks and I did the open mic night, and I fucking bombed.
Yeah.
I bombed. Like my friends say that you didn't because some of my friends came. They're like, no, you were really good. I'm like, no, I fucking bombed. I sucked.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And so I started
You
going
got the
to
itch.
Yeah. And I was like, why didn't I try this earlier? I was 32 years old. Most comics, dude, like some of the best comics in the city are like 18, 19 years old. Like they've been doing comedy since they were like 16. Like by the time they're my age at 36, they've been doing comedy for like 20 plus years, right? And I was 32, and I just was like, I'm gonna keep trying this. And I got very fortunate that some headliners liked me and started giving me a little bit of opportunity. And I was 10 months into comedy, which is like incredibly new to like quit your day job. Like I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Yeah. And I had this is where I was like, you guys don't mind if I shit on ULine a little bit. So every year ULine does this thing where they make all their employees stay late one night at all their branches. They have branches all through the U.S. and in Mexico, and there's one in Toronto, and there's one here. And they make all their employees stay late one night. They pay everyone overtime, but you have to stay late, and it's like 3 hours late, like all through dinner and everything. And they make every branch has to make their employees act out a scene from a popular movie using ULine product as props, and you have to put the owners of the company in the scene of the movie.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And
what?
I swear to God. And the owners pay everybody salary, and it's hundreds and thousands of employees.
Right.
They pay everybody overtime to stay late one night, and it's like a video conference, and you watch every branch's movie of the owners of the company being in this scene from this movie.
Amazing.
It's the
Is it like an ego move? Like
they're a cult. It's fucking weird. And I was like, what?
Strange.
So our branch is going to do it. And the manager, the branch manager of the warehouse manager comes to me and he says, Adam, you're doing comedy now, hey? And I said, yeah. And he was like, well, we want you to play. So the owners' names are Dick and like Richard, like Dick. He is a dick, but like that's no, but like it's Dick and Liz. They're a couple.
Okay.
And he was like, we want you to play Dick in this thing we got to do. And I was like, dude, I really don't want to do that. Like I was like, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, well, like I'm not asking you, like I'm kind of telling you, like you got it. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And he was like, well, we'll talk about it on Monday because they're recording it Monday. And I was like, well, okay, but I don't want to do it. So then Monday morning comes around and they're like, all right, Adam, we got to go film this. Like, I don't even know what fucking movie it is. I don't watch movies. I have no idea what the fuck thing is. Yeah. He's like, okay, we're going to go film the thing. And I was like, no, I told you, Mike, like, I really don't want to do that, man. And he's like, well, like, I'm telling you, you're doing it. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, someone's got to cover customer pickup while you guys are filming this fucking thing. And the whole like warehouse is there because it's like our morning meeting. I was like, I'll cover pickup. And he's like, no. He's like, it's an order. He's like, I'm giving you an order. You're going to be in this movie. And I'll tell you guys, like, I'm a really laid back guy. I don't get angry very much, other than at video games. But the one other thing that makes me angry is when someone just don't talk disrespectfully to me.
Sure.
If you've got a beef with me, pull me into your office and we can have a conversation. You know what I mean? Like we're both men. We're both human. It doesn't even matter if you're a man or a woman. We're both human beings. Yeah. Just fucking talk to me. And so he starts like, and he like, I said, I'm not going to do the movie. And he's like, his voice comes up and he's like, you're a disrespectful insubordinate. And when we're done filming this, I'm going to put you in your place. And he stormed off with the warehouse to go film this scene. Yeah. And I was so mad. And I'd been doing comedy for about 10 months. And I was starting to get a little bit of road work. And I fucking hated this job more than anything in the world. And I called my girlfriend up. And I just was like, this is what just happened. I'm so angry. And she was like, fuck him, just quit. And I was like, are you like, we can't really... My girlfriend's got a great paying job. Like she's like, no. She's like, I can cover us. I'm sure you can find another job. Quit. And I did. I left. Yeah. Like he came back from filming the scene, and I was gone. I've talked to a couple of the guys since, and they said he lost his shit because he came back, and my forklift was sitting there like running, and just in park, and like I was gone, and I never went back. They called me like a day later to try to get me to come in for an interview, and I came in and dropped off my uniforms and just left, and I went back to the sports memorabilia job. I did that for about a year and a half part-time. Okay, and they were incredibly accommodating as my comedy schedule got busier and busier. Right. And then it got to a point, my girlfriend and I went on a trip to Japan. And while we were in Japan, she was like, you should just quit your job when we get back and just try to do comedy. And so I did. And so now it's been about 2 years. And
as a full-time working
comedian. Yeah. And I don't make the best, like I make worse money than I did at ULine.
Sure.
But like, dude, and I know it's a cliche, but like money is so far from anything. Your hoodie says it's only money. And it's so fucking spot on, dude. Like, and I would tell anybody this, like I waited. My biggest regret is that I waited till I was 32 to try something that I knew I wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? And I just because I was like, I can't do it. With Google now, you can do anything. I could have Googled how to get to an open mic and started comedy 10 years ago. And then I'd probably be no more famous than I am right now. But I wouldn't have had to work at ULine. So like that's the long and short of it. Was just it was 15 years of doing jobs I hated.
Yeah.
Dreaming about doing something that I wanted to do, and the only reason I didn't do it earlier was laziness and thinking I can't do it.
Right.
And so I really seriously, like, I know it's gonna sound so hokey and it's a cliche, but like I really push it on everybody. It doesn't matter what it is you want to try.
Yeah.
Like just try it, dude. If you want to start it, it's so easy to start a business today. You know what I mean? Like, look at you. You guys fucking started a business with nothing but YouTube and some wrenches, and you were like, yeah, we could fucking do this. Like you can like, because there's so like, I'm not saying you're gonna go out and buy a warehouse tomorrow and become the new Walmart or anything, but like you can start a business from home with the internet and stuff like that, and there's minimal risk. There's minimal risk. Even I would go as far to say that like if you can afford it, I mean it's different if you got kids and stuff to take care of. I don't have any kids, but like I would tell people like you can always get another job. I know that the economy's not great right now, but like I could get a job at Walmart tomorrow if I needed to pay my bills. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, dude, like just don't fucking wait. Like just try something. If there's something you want to do, just fucking try it. Like what's the worst case? What is the worst case of that comedy thing? Is I would have gone to that open mic, I would have bombed, and I would have been like, well, that was the worst experience of my life. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
Fine. And now I know. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
I cannot stress it enough. It drives me crazy. I have friends that have jobs they fucking hate and they complain about it all the time. And I'm like, then just like try something else. Like what is it you want to do? There's got to be something. Everyone's got something they want to do,
sure.
right? And it's not going to be easy. Like it's not easy. Like it's not, dude, like, I could sit here and tell you guys fucking horror gigs for 4 years of my comedy career. These shit gigs I've done for like $80, fucking whiteout drives through fucking Western Canada, and you bomb and nobody liked you, and then you drive home, and by the time I get home, I've spent $60 of the $80 on gas. Like I made 20. You know what I mean? But it's like, but I don't have to go to ULine every day and drive that forklift.
Damn.
And it's just so much better. It's just it's night and day.
Yeah. That's a really good story, man. That's I think we're kind of on that wavelength of like to put it simply, like pursue your dreams and goals, as cheesy as that sounds to say it that simply, but no, I think that resonates with me for sure.
Fuck
like,
yeah,
that's
man.
That's awesome.
There's a great. I'm not a movie guy, but I know who Kevin Smith is.
Okay,
like Silent Bob.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like it's, and I know some people don't even like him, which I don't really get. But I don't. Again, maybe it's his movies. I don't know anything about his movies. But there's a great YouTube clip that I tell everyone that I watched it right after I started comedy, and it really spoke to me. And he's at a Q&A, and someone just talked to him about making movies, and the long and short of it is he tells a story about his dad dying. His dad has a heart attack, and his dad died. And he was like, and he explains how his dad was like a great guy. Had a shitty job that he just worked to take care of his family, took care of his kids, loved his wife, did what he was told. Like, just the family man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And Kevin's like, he died, like, screaming, burning up, having a heart attack, and he died. And Kevin was like, that really opened his eyes to be like, we're all going to die. And it doesn't matter how good or how bad a person you are, like, you're going to die, and it's going to suck when it happens. So he's like, there's no reason not to try things. He's like, you're either going to die working a fucking shitty job for 50 years and doing nothing, or you're going to die hosting podcasts and starting a company and making YouTube or streaming video or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's all going to end in the same place. So why the fuck would you spend it doing the shitty thing when you can spend it doing the fun thing? You know what I mean? Rogan talks about it all the time. You guys mentioned you listen to Rogan. Everybody listens to some Rogan's podcasts, right? And he talks about it, and he's like, people shit on him when he tells people go out and try stuff because they're like, it's easy for you to say you're rich and famous and you've got the money to do that kind of stuff. He's like, I wasn't always rich and famous.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it's true. I mean, some people are born into it. And frankly, I think the people that are born into it are fucked because I don't think they have that work ethic that people that weren't born into it have. Do you know what I mean? There's no excuse not to try what it is you want to do. If you're miserable in your life, quite frankly, there's like a 80% chance it's your fault. Like I get that maybe you got dealt a bad hand, but anyone can fix. You know what I mean? If you're fat, you can lose weight, and if you're skinny, you can bulk up, and if you're sore, you can, or if you're paralyzed or fucking if you're dumb or what, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like there's ways to work around anything.
Oh yeah.
It's just that people want to pity themselves.
Yeah.
That's all it is. People want to fucking pity themselves.
Well, it's taking full responsibility for your life, right?
Yeah, it is. And dude, I'll tell you, when I quit my day job, that we got back from our trip, I quit my job, and I don't want to get into like too personally into my finances, but my goal was I was like, I got to make $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
I was like, if I can make, and I was like, that's on average. So I could have a month where I make 2,500, a month where I make 1,500.
Yeah.
But I was like, because that was about what I was making at my last day job on my part-time hours. Like after taxes, I was clearing about $2,000 a month.
Okay.
And I was like, so if I can just get close to that, then I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and so the first 6 months after I quit my job, I was like really struggling. I was depressed kind of, and my girlfriend was like, this is what you've wanted for like 15 years. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? It was because it's like I was almost like, it's like I was brainwashed that I have to go to work every day and I have to work and I got to bring money home to the house and work. And I wasn't working. And I was working. Like I send so many emails. I try to book my own shows. I email every booker I can get my hands on. Yeah. I record my stuff and put it up, and then I write material. And now I've got these podcasts that I try to use to promote myself and things like that. So I work really hard, but I'm not going to work. And I feel like I'm like, this isn't a job.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah,
like I'm
absolutely.
sitting around talking about video games and writing dick jokes. Like that's not a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to change my mindset of being like, dude, you don't have to go to a shitty job anymore. Yeah. Just fucking relax and just work hard at this thing you're working on now, and eventually it'll pay off. And I truly believe, I'm not a religious guy. I don't believe in like, I'm not a big like fate or destiny or anything, but I am a big believer that you get out what you put in. And I was like, if I just keep working at this, if other people have made it, and like, there's people more funny than me that aren't getting opportunities that I'm getting, but there are people less funny than me that are getting opportunities that I'm not getting. You know what I mean? Like, and that's in any walk of life. That's just going to happen. Yeah. And I just like to look at it as like, if they can do it, I can fucking do it. I just have to work. I can fucking do it. Yeah. And so it took me a long time to get into the mindset of you don't have to just go to a shitty job every day and just work. You know what I mean? And now I am there. And now the idea of going back to a shitty job is like, I'm like, no, I'm 36 years old. I'm 36 years old, and my goal is when my girlfriend's ready to retire in, I don't know, 25 years or whatever the fuck it is, I'm like, I'm retiring with her. I treat it just like a regular job. I know I talked about how I love my video games. I'm addicted to my video games and stuff. Now when I get up in the morning, I send my emails, I clean the house. Yeah. And dude, anyone that's like, a guy's not supposed to clean the house, I'm like, shut the fuck up, you stupid. This is why you're single then, you fucking loser. Like, I get up, I send a ton of emails, I clean my house. I've taught myself how to cook in the last year with YouTube, because I'm a terrible fucking cook.
Gordon Ramsay vids,
oh man.
Dude, YouTube. It's insane the stuff you can learn to cook with the internet. And like, it may not look like the picture, but as long as it tastes good, I don't give a fuck what it looks like, as long as it tastes good. You know, so I get up, I send my emails, I clean the house, I cook dinner so that my girlfriend's got dinner waiting for her when she gets home. We have a dog that now gets walks twice a day. Yeah. You know, I work out. I don't look like it, but I do work out now every day. And then after my girl gets home, we have dinner together, and then I go out to the open mics at night. And that's my job now. And I'm like, and I'm so happy.
Dope. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all because I'm not bragging. Because trust me, if you're watching this, you probably have more money than I do. So like, I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying that like, I'm happy with my life now. Yeah. And it's because I tried. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
and I just
took risks.
Dude, yeah, that's it. It's not even that big a risk. It really isn't.
Yeah, truly.
So, I mean, you guys start a podcast. Yeah. And I know that some people might think this sounds silly, but like, 3/4 of people that start podcasts give up after like 2 episodes. Yeah. Because no one's listening and they don't know what they're doing. Or like, you text your buddy and you're like, yo man, are we podcasting today? And one of you's like, I don't feel like doing it today. I'm hungover. I don't want to fucking go. Yeah. And then the podcast falls apart, you know? But you guys are starting to build a podcast that's starting to fucking gain some traction because you just didn't give up and you just kept working at it. Yeah. You know?
Very true. Very true. And even I would say, because we're also technically self-employed more or less in our day jobs as well. And like, there's almost a little bit of, I think the technical term is kind of imposter syndrome, where like when you have that level of kind of freedom and control over your life, you're so conditioned to be within the parameters of 9 to 5 that you just kind of sit there and think to yourself, how is this a thing? Like how this doesn't feel right, trying to get over that. And that's kind of even something me personally, I've kind of been dealing with or struggle with over the years, is kind of those like, just societal norms, as corny as that word sounds, to say, trying to work around that and be like, it's okay to not be within these boundaries.
Yes,
right?
man. Yeah. So, because schools teach us, right? Like, I mean, from the time you're young, and like, I'm not even trying to shit on the schools, but like from the time you're young, you're just taught like you're going to go to school, then you're going to go to college or university, you're going to get a degree, and then you're going to go work, and you work till you're 65, you retire, you got 20 years to enjoy it, then you're dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, why does that have to be the fucking rules? And I really mean this. Like, I've always felt that I think schools should be far more encouraging of people's ideas and dreams or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Their passions and stuff like that. And I've also been a firm believer that like I don't even think people should be able to go to post-secondary education for 2 years after they graduate high school.
Fuck, that'd actually be such
Damn,
a good idea.
I like that.
Like,
I like
because
that.
like, dude, I'll tell you, when I graduated, I was 17 when I graduated high school, and I wanted to be a lawyer so bad. I wanted to be a lawyer. So I find law fascinating, and I really wanted to be a lawyer. And I looked into it, and I had to upgrade one of my courses. It was like my English, I think, or something. I had to go back and get a better grade. Yeah. And I just dragged my feet and never did it. And now I think about it, I'm like, dude, what if my grade had been good and I got into school and now I'm sitting here with like 12 years of student loans to pay off and a job that I know now that I wouldn't want to fucking do.
Yeah.
Because when you're 17, you don't know what the fuck you want to do. Like, well, I mean, some people do, but an overwhelming majority don't. You know what I mean? Like, and some people, when I tell people that leap year idea, people are like, well, but I'm afraid that if they took 2 years off, they wouldn't go back to school. I'm like, that's good. Because that means they didn't go back to do something they don't want to fucking do. If you really want to do it, you'll go back to school.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not shitting on schools because I think being a teacher would be an incredibly difficult job. You know, we all laugh about how they get 2 months off every summer and stuff like that. Yeah. But I also know that I would want to take care of 2 dozen snot-nosed fucking kids that I can't yell at. You know what I mean? That I can't yell at or fail or discipline or anything anymore. I'm not trying to shit on school or teachers, but I just think that we don't do anything near enough to encourage people to go out and try stuff. We try to encourage people to just get in line and go and fucking pull the rope and do the machine job that we're told to do, and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm on the same page as you. I think that school a lot of the time is, in a lot of careers nowadays, it's unnecessary. Yeah. Really. Like, unless you're going to go be a doctor or a lawyer or
of course.
Work in healthcare or something like
Probably
that.
need traditional education there for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to go start a business doing something, you're going to
Yeah.
be a programmer, you're going to do comedy, you're going to do whatever, like, you don't need it, man.
No, man. And I would never tell someone like drop out of high school, like finish high school, like get your learn some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just like do this. Like frankly, enjoy high school because I guarantee you, there's a ton of people that are in high school that hate it and they're like, oh, I can't wait to be an adult and have a job and have money and shit like that. I'm like, I thought that too. Yeah. This sucks so much more. Like just enjoy school and have fun. You don't have any responsibilities. You hang out with your buds all day. Enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. And as the world goes more and more online and stuff like that, it's easier and easier to work for yourself.
Oh yeah.
It just is.
I would say there's a bit of a paradigm shift as well, right? Just kind of towards that openness, that mindset, whatever you kind of want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So, and for me, because I have, friends younger than me, and I have a sibling decent bit younger than me, where I want to say I was done my degree by the time she was starting university kind of thing, and was very stressed about what she was going to take, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the amount of, like, I'm in a field that has nothing, well, it's semi-related, but it really has nothing to do with my degree. Right. And then the amount of people I know who went to school just to get a degree and they're grossly underemployed, or they need to go back to school to get something else, or they have no idea what they want to do, or they're doing a career change. Like, you really need to not sweat it when you're 17 years old.
You
right?
really do. Like, finish high school, and then I would honestly say that get a job.
Yeah.
Like, get it, and if it is one of those shitty jobs, that's fine. When you're 17, 18 years old, get a fucking, don't be that loser that just smokes pot and beats me at Call of Duty and calls me these weird fucking names. Like, go and get, like, get a job, pull your weight, like, and figure out what life is about, and then be like, okay, I understand that I've got to do something. Mm-hmm. What is it I really want to do, One of my best friends is a pretty high up dude with ATB. I don't want to name him because I don't want anyone to watch this and then get him fired. But he hates it, and he makes great money. But he fucking hates his job. Mm-hmm. And his little brother, who's another really good buddy of mine, went and got, like, I think it's an accounting degree, something to do with money. And he went and got the exact same degree his brother did because he saw that his brother started to make a lot of money. Yeah. And he hated it so much that he never even used the degree. He's a firefighter now with Edmonton Fire.
Nice.
But he's still paying off the fucking student loans from this degree that he's like, I didn't even want it. He's like, literally from day one, he's like, why the fuck am I here? I don't want to do this. But it's because that's just what we're told to fucking do. Do you know what I mean? It's just so insane to me that we just I'm not a conspiracist or anything, but like, is that the right word? Conspiracist?
Conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory. I'm not. I don't believe in conspiracy. Anyway, maybe I should have gone to school. Now you guys see why I had to upgrade my English because you guys are interrogators and I'm a conspiracist. What was I going to say now? I lost my train of thought because I was getting so fired up about stupid words.
Just like the I think I see where you're going, like the system and...
So I'm not a huge believer in like a big conspiracy that the government's like, we got to get all these people brainwashed to fucking do what we... But like, I do believe that like the rich people rule the world, and they absolutely want us going through life being like, you go to school, then you get an education, then you come work for me, and I'll pay you this much to make me richer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have no problem with someone starting a business and hiring people. That's business. Like, that's fine.
That's economics, right?
But it should be a business you want to work in. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to just fucking take the first job. That's what I did. That's why I drove a forklift for 15 years, because I was working at Walmart making like $9, and then someone was like, hey, I can get you like, I think I got like $12. They were like, to come drive this forklift, and I was like, oh my god, $12 to drive a forklift, wow. And then it became my life for 15 years, and I just got incredibly fortunate that, like, and I've said it so many times, dude, like, I got so lucky that I've been with my girlfriend for almost 15 years. I met my girlfriend at that first forklift job.
Right.
That was actually so, like, she was HR. Not when we met, but by the time I left, she was HR, and I was one of the supervisors of the warehouse. And they were like, yeah, it's a conflict. And they're like, one of you is going to have to go. And I quit like the next day. I was like, I don't know, I really like her. So, and I hate this fucking job. I was like, I can go drive a forklift right there.
Sure.
Like, so I was like, and that's what I did.
Like,
I literally worked half a block away. I got another job. I was like, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
But that's the whole reason I fucking got into that job, was just because that's what I was told. I was like, I got to get a fucking job. Like, I'm not passionate about it. I just know I'm supposed to go make money.
Yeah.
And then you realize it's not everything, dude. Yeah. It just isn't. And that's what I was gonna say. I got so fortunate. We just didn't have kids. We're in a good spot financially. My girlfriend makes good money, and she's like the most supportive. I make fun of her a lot on stage. But like, she's the greatest person. She's so ridiculously supportive of me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And she's like, yeah, I don't care if you make a lot of money. She's like, I have to live with you, and I don't want you coming home being angry every day.
Yeah,
so she's like, go do something fun.
Yeah. No, I noticed when you were telling the story, like, she was definitely very supportive for like throughout. So that's, I mean, shout out to her, right?
Dude,
so that's awesome.
Shaylee's a fucking saint, man. Like, it's like, you know, everyone always jokes about your better half, like your better half. Like, all of my friends are like, the only reason we even bring you around is because you bring Shaylee. They're like, we just want to see her. I'm like, oh, I'm fully aware that I'm riding her coattails to friends. I don't fucking care. That's fine. So, anyway.
No, I mean, I even fall in that too. It's like, oh, I'm 26. I don't have a house. I'm not married. But I have friends that are married and have a house and all this stuff. Like, what the fuck am I doing? But at the same time, it's like, I mean,
well, yeah, that's maybe not your path per se, right?
Yeah.
So,
But it's so hard to not compare yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so, dude, and with social media, it's so much worse.
Comparison.
Fuck, dude. Instagram is like, I fucking hate Instagram.
It's almost what it's based on, really.
It is.
Right?
So. Everyone, no one posts like a picture of their like third notice bills are due. You know what I mean? They post a picture of their house, and they're like, I'm balling, and it's like, dude, you cannot afford that fucking house. Like, why the fuck are you? But and then you see that, and you're in your apartment or whatever, and you're like, oh man, I'm a loser. How come I can't afford that house? And it's like, he can't afford that fucking house either, you know?
Yeah, most definitely.
It's so easy to compare yourself to people.
So fucking true, man.
And it's so hard not to. It's so fucking hard not to, man.
Fall into that trap. But I think I'm optimistic because I think people are becoming more aware of that, but it's not going to go away tomorrow, sort of thing.
No, right? You know, because like, I mean, I know I'm like 10 years older than you guys, but we're still very close to like, we're same generation-ish.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We're
still millennials.
We're
millennials.
Still peers. Oh yeah, dude, I got in an argument with someone one day because they called me a millennial, and I was like, fuck you, I'm 83, I'm not a millennial. And we looked it up, and like, I made the cut by like a year or something. Yeah. And I was like, god damn it.
But there's also
I'm a fucking millennial.
Like, there's like a universal worldwide generation body that decides this is the cutoff here. It's kind of like generally
there's
agreed.
There's definitely some
it's a little loose.
Some goalposts that get moved sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. But even so, the point remains, I would say we're still definitely relatively peers, right?
Yeah.
So,
and we were just like, I didn't have one of these. I didn't have I don't know, I keep holding my phone up and then realizing it's a podcast. Not everyone's watching it on the fucking video.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 20 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I never had a cell phone growing up. Yeah. And I still learned to compare myself to other people once I got a hold of social media and a phone. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to see how it goes with kids today, because like, I think phone addiction and internet addiction and I mean social media and you know, not to get too, you know, gross with it, but like porn addiction, all those kinds of things. Like, dude, if I had been 14 years old and instead of Britney Spears music videos, I had a fucking 3x6 device in my pocket that I could look up any kind of porn, anything I wanted.
All the porn that has ever existed is in your pocket, right?
Dude, so like, that's gonna fuck kids up.
Yeah,
but I do
that's
think
a very good point. Actually,
it's gonna fuck them up.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I do think it's gonna go to like, there are gonna be kids that are just completely addicted to social media and all the internet and shit like that. And they're gonna be comparing themselves to people till they die. And I do think there's a movement trying to teach people, you don't have to compare yourself to people. You can get away from all that kind of stuff. Delete the fucking social media. You know, I don't have kids and I don't plan to ever have kids. But if I did have a kid, like I would probably, I mean, at the risk of them getting beat up for being a loser, I would try to keep them off social media.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you can't have Instagram. You can't have any of that shit. You don't need it. It does more harm than good.
Yeah.
More harm than good. And if you got to have it, use it to promote your business because it's an invaluable tool for that.
Move them to the forest.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
Yeah.
Get them to
Go
the
off
log
the map.
house.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Honestly.
That's the
Yeah,
dream.
yeah. No, they didn't have to, use a Sears catalog or
Yeah, man.
whatever.
Yeah,
So
buddy. It's
I hadn't thought about that angle. That's interesting. We actually had a friend.
We're the first generation, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, because we had a friend we were talking recently, and even like kids' relationships with technology, because he had a kid relatively recently, so he notices like young children, like let's say like 5 to 10 or so, like when they start to be like more of a real human being, but because they're so used to like Amazon Echoes or Alexas and
those
Google
weird
Homes
things
and
you
stuff,
talk to.
they actually walk into rooms just talking to the room, expecting it to like do things.
Jesus.
But if that person doesn't have a Google Home, they're like, "Hey, why aren't the lights turning on?" Right? Because I told Google to turn. Like they don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we're getting so dumb that we might like not be able to operate a light switch.
Yeah. Well, I like Tom. Are you a fan of Tom Segura?
Oh yeah.
On his more whatever the most recent special is, he's like, I think we're a few years away from like beds that sit up for you, and then you're gonna like say, just lay there and be like food, and then an arm's gonna come out, and then he's gonna be like shit, and then the bottom will
It's gonna open up.
Yeah.
It might not be wrong though, dude. It's fucking true. It's unreal. Like do you guys have Alexas or any of those
No.
fucking things?
No.
No.
That thing, dude.
no.
Like, so my girlfriend is she's like, she keeps little stickers over all her cameras on all her
Yeah.
devices
Good
and
for
shit.
her. Good
And
for
I
her.
kind of give her a hard time about it. I'm like, dude, they have better things to do than like watch you fucking shop.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Browse
Like,
Facebook
you
or
know what I
whatever,
mean? Like,
yeah.
it's, and I'm of the belief of like, I'm like, dude, if you want to watch me like read sports highlights while I take a shit, then you can watch the camera. I don't really care. But like,
Yeah.
but it is fucking creepy. And those Alexa things and stuff, that's too much to me. Like, I don't want like, dude, there's going to come a day where you're going to walk in and your house is going to fucking tell you what to do. Like, it's like
Yeah.
when AI takes over, that's coming.
Yeah.
Again, not to be a conspiracist or whatever the fuck the word is.
Yeah.
AI is going to take over someday. It's fucking terrifying. Those things creep me out, man.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Should we take like a quick break here?
Sure, I got a piss.
Awesome.
they're going to watch.
idea,
I
so-
like wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm a Vince McMahon guy, so I'm like, dude, yeah, if you can make this football league work, why not? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So.
Like why? And like honestly, like unless they're your competitor, why cheer for anyone to lose? Do you know? Like I don't. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Right.
really, unless they've done something to you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
yeah.
I'm cheering for ULine to lose. Like they're never going to. They're gonna fucking
Yeah.
take over the world someday. But
Yeah, absolutely.
anyway, are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're
okay.
back.
I was like,
Don't worry, a little-
I better not talk anymore about ULine.
No,
I
a
fucking
little-
hate 'em.
Little intra break banter is always appreciated by
Yeah,
people,
it's
so-
nice. It's so weird because you guys are like, yo, you can say anything you want. It's totally chill. But then as soon as the mic and the headphones like come off, you're like, oh, now I can say anything I want.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I fully agree. There's kind of a weird, like, it's a noticeable kind of shift you can feel in the room when
I know.
you hit pause.
I don't
right?
get
So-
why. And it's like you guys literally like, yeah, there's not really any rules. Just
yeah.
don't be a complete dick.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you guys actually didn't even say that. I just assumed that was part of
yeah,
part of
Nope.
the
just
rules.
general
Not
etiquette.
part of the rules, bro.
Yeah.
I can be a complete
If-
dick.
as much as you want. Honestly, but that's for our format. That's why I kind of like doing the break because it sort of like shifts the, like, especially if it's someone who's not used to talking or podcasting or whatever.
yeah.
Like they'll kind of relax, and then after the break, it gets like a little bit better.
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of thing. Right?
And
So-
go smoke a joint and chill out.
yeah, exactly. Right.
So-
So, one thing I like to chat with people about, if they're not too painful to relive, but any like funny nightmare gigs that stories
yeah.
you can share.
Oh,
Like,
no,
I don't
yeah.
know. Those are,
That's
if you
just-
can laugh about them, I actually enjoy those stories as a
Dude,
comedy fan.
That's
So,
the stories everybody wants.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear the story where you did
yeah.
really good and
I
everyone
went to a
loved you.
set. It went well. I got paid on
That's-
time,
that's
and I went
boring.
home.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
yeah, I
right.
got a couple. Okay, so fucking, dude, I was brand new. I was only 2 or 3 months in,
Yeah.
and there used to be an open mic in Edmonton called the Druid. I don't know if you guys know that bar.
Yep.
It's Urban Tavern
Urban
now,
Tavern,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was the Druid, and that was like a very long running open mic. And most comedy open mics, they only put on like 8 or 10 comics, and so you can either sign up in advance or you go. A lot of them do draws where everyone that wants to go on the show puts their name in a hat, and then if you get drawn, you get to be on the show. But the Druid was a show up, go up. So if there 30 comics showed up, 30 comics went on. And a lot of dude, if there's any Edmonton comedians listening to this that were doing comedy when the Jew was around, like so many of us got started at the Jewwood.
Yeah.
It was, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of comics that were scared of it because it was a tough room, but you fucking learned. Like that's you get and I have another story. I hope you guys don't care if I tell a couple.
Please,
I got
please,
stories. Okay.
Please.
But I was like 2 months into the Jewwood, and some nights that show was magic, and some nights that show was fucking rough because it's a bar and it's free admission, so people could be there just with their friends drinking.
Yeah.
They didn't come to see the comedy show. You know what I mean? So they don't have to listen to you.
What day of the week?
Sunday night. Sunday night.
Because Urban Tavern kind of does.
They do Sunday nights as well. They
Okay.
actually just closed because they're rebranding it, so it'll be back. Yeah.
Anyways,
but so I was maybe 2 months in, and I go up and I start telling my jokes, and I'm doing new jokes, and new jokes don't always work. You know what I mean? Like that's the fear. And these new jokes aren't. That's what you go to. If I'm getting paid, I will not go up there with brand new jokes. I may riff. I like to do crowd work and fuck around.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna do jokes, I'm gonna do jokes that I know work because you're paying me to make them laugh. I got to do my best job to make you laugh.
For sure.
But if it's a free show, then it's you didn't pay a thing. I'm up here trying new material. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so I do a couple minutes of new material, and I don't get anything. Like I get nothing. So then I shift. I'm like, okay, I better go to some. And I'm new. Like as you get older, like now I would know how to deal with that better.
Yeah.
But when you're brand new, you just it's like quicksand, and you start to fucking panic, and you're like, I gotta get a laugh. So then I shift to like these old jokes, like the couple old jokes I have that work, and they don't get anything. And now I'm just in full-fledged panic mode. And I know now, as someone's been doing it for a few years on a free open mic, I'm doing a 5-minute spot. Nobody gives a fuck if I bomb. There's no need to panic. It doesn't matter if you bomb. It doesn't fucking matter. But back then I was like, fuck, if I bomb, all the comics are going to see me, and then no one's going to put me on their show again, and I'm never going to make it. You know what I mean? So then I start going into the crowd, which I wasn't ready to do. I had no reason to do it. And there's like no reason. I'm just trying to get someone to talk to me and acknowledge me. And there was a girl on her phone at one of the tables, like not talking, but like texting on her phone.
Sure.
Which again, free comedy show. She's entitled to do that.
Yeah.
She just happened to be at the bar. Frankly, you should just be happy they're at the bar buying drinks because now the bar is going to let the comedy show keep going because they're making money.
Exactly.
And I was like, look at this C word here, not even looking at me, just texting stuff on her phone. And then she looked up and she was like, excuse me? And I was like, why the fuck are you even here if you're not here for the comedy show? And she's like, I didn't know there was a comedy show. And then the host gives me the light, which is you're like, hey, you got a minute to wrap it up. And I'm like, okay, I better fucking leave right now.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm off the stage, and the host earlier that night had told a story about years ago. There was a comic where he had set it up. He had told the whole crowd, hey, when I bring this guy up, nobody make a sound. Nobody laugh. Nobody fucking talk. Nobody take a drink. Just let him bomb. And then after he bombed, then the host came up and told him, like, and everyone had a laugh and shit like that, right? So this all happens. I come off, and the host comes up, Lars. He shakes my hand, and he goes, hey, Adam, you remember that story I told about how I told the whole audience to not laugh at your set? And I stop on the stage, and everyone's looking, and I was like, you didn't. And he's like, nope, I didn't. You just fucking bombed. And the place erupted, and I walked off the stage, and I was like, motherfucker. But like but I learned I was like, you have to learn how to bomb.
You got to do it, right? Yeah.
And then I used to host a comedy show up in the North End. I'll give them a plug because their food's phenomenal. It's Chicago Joe's. It's a pizza place in the North End.
Okay.
Kind of a little like dive bar, like sports bar, but phenomenal food. And I hosted an open mic there with Mike Dambro, with another comic in Edmonton, for about 1.5 to 2 years. And it was notoriously like the roughest open mic, not just in Edmonton, but like Western. Dude, I do a tour every summer where I go out and do these clubs in Ottawa, Kingston, and Toronto. Yeah. And so I know some of the comics out there now, and they know I'm the guy that hosted Chicago Joe's. Like everybody fucking knew this show in the Canadian. It was so bad because like the regulars that were there, well, nobody would come, and like the only people that were ever there were the regulars, and they didn't care about us. Like you'd be talking to their backs while they're sitting at the bar, like a Moe's Tavern thing. And if you could get them to turn around and look at you, you were fucking killing. Yeah. And it was rough, and I had 2 different people try to fight me at that show. And the first one, we did a show on Remembrance Day, and my dad's military. My dad served for like about 30 years, so like I have a lot of respect for I'm a military family. But like I go up, and this dude is just like, he's drunk off his ass. He's in his military garb. He's a young dude, like he's probably like early 20s, and he's just heckling us and beaking, and you know what I mean. And I was like, dude, come on, like it just like, would you please just shut the fuck up? And he's like, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry, I'll shut the fuck up. And I was like, thank you. I start telling my joke, and he starts talking again. And I was like, dude, it's your day. It's Remembrance Day. I know you're military, and what you've done for a living has kind of given you the right to be able to talk wherever you want in this country. It's a free country. And everyone like kind of claps. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, but you've also given me the right to tell you to shut the fuck up. And he stands up and he's literally like 4 feet from the stage and he just stands up and he starts looking at me. And in my head, I'm like, fuck. But I'm trying to look, I'm leaning into the mic stand and I was like, yeah, if you want me to fucking embarrass you in front of your girlfriend here, I will. Like, shut the fuck up. And then like the bartender, she came out. She's like, guys, come on, like stop. And the guy like left me alone. And then like 6 months later, it turned out that his girlfriend or wife, I don't know if they're married or not, is one of the servers at Chicago Joe's now. Because she was like, oh my God, that was my boyfriend that wanted to beat the shit out of you this time. Oh, no. So then another time we actually had a semi crowd. And I was hosting that night, and we had a new guy on stage, brand new guy. And that's a tough room for a fucking new comic.
Oh, yeah.
And he's bombing, and this guy is just yelling, just heckling, this big fat fucking loser, just heckling him from the back corner.
Yeah.
So then, I don't want to name him, but the comic comes off, and I go back up. And I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. And he's like, what'd you say? And I was like, shut your fat fucking mouth. And he's like, you want to step outside, G? And he says, G. And I was like, put your fucking helmet on and maybe. And he's like, and then he storms out. And I'm like, there. And everyone like cheered because he left. And I was like, all right, here comes your next comic. I bring the next comic up. I go to the back of the room where the comics sit. And as I'm getting back to the back of the room, all of a sudden everyone like jumps up and goes running by me. And I turn around and this fucking guy is running at me. And not only did all the comics get up, but the old regular guys from the bar got up and they're in between us. And they're like, and once I turn around and there's like 20 people between us, now I'm big. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, I'm like yelling at him. And all the guys are like, Adam, shut the fuck up. And I was like, you get the fuck out of here. Nobody wanted you fucking here in the first place. And then he leaves. And all the old regular guys were like, no one was beating the shit out of you but us. And everyone like clapped and they sat down. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So I've had 2 different people try to fight me.
Does that show still go on?
No.
Fuck.
No, okay, and you want to know how it ended? This
How?
is my favorite thing. We went to do the show one night. We used to do it we did it on Wednesdays and we did it on Thursdays. It depended on the week because we wouldn't go up against an Oilers game because it was nobody
no
wanted
point.
it.
Yeah, fair.
So we had a Thursday night show and it was during the NFL season and the guys wanted to watch, the regulars at the bar who were the only people there wanted to watch Thursday night football, and they were like, how much can we pay you guys to not do the show? And we made like $100 a week to do the show, and they were like, what would it cost us to have you not do a comedy show so we could watch football? And that was the week where me and the other host were just like, this show is done. We're like, when the audience is like, hey, what do we have to pay you to not do a fucking show?
Shit.
We're like, it's time to not do a show.
So how much did you make that night?
I wasn't there that night. I switched out. I know Mike got some money. He was like, yeah, I'll take your fucking money. I don't care. So
Made like quadruple regular.
yeah. So I don't know, man. So we've had some of those. We did a show up near Fort Mac once, in this fucking seedy little hotel.
Yep.
And the dude that booked it, like, we gave him a good show. There's only about a dozen people there, but like, I was the opening act, and then the headliner actually was Mike, killed, and we gave him a good fucking show. And then the guy was like, well, I don't, the owner didn't come down, and I can't get into the safe to pay you guys. He's like, so we'll have to send you a check. And Mike's been doing this job for like, he was kind of a mentor to me. He was a mentor to me when I started. And Mike's been doing it for like 35 years. Mike's like, no, that's not how it fucking, it's like, he's like, because we'll never see that money again. We're not driving 5 hours back to get this money. He's like, you got to find a way to pay us. And the dude ended up like opening the pool tables and like and like taking all, and we got this giant paper bag of loonies. Like a giant, like the type of thing you'd see like a sock full of pennies. That, like, it was just this huge fucking like bottom almost falling out paper bag full of loonies. And that was what we got. So we're driving back to Edmonton counting out these fucking loonies. And I was just like, what am I doing with my fucking life? That this is like, this is, what the fuck? This isn't a job. Fuck me. So
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
that's some of my worst shows. And then the best shows are always Grande Prairie.
We've heard that actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Buddy. I'm gonna, like, when this goes live, I'm gonna share it and everything, and I'm gonna tell Grande Prairie I fucking gave you your shout out.
Yeah.
I do the casino there a couple of times a year.
Yep.
And I love that show more than life itself. It is
Yeah.
like, and I don't even tell jokes. They just get you so fucking drunk. I had a guy arrested in the front row. I was on stage in a mid joke, and these fucking giant cops walk in, and they go to the guy front row, and it's like a 200 seat room, and it's full. Cops go to this guy in the front row, and they're like, "Are you so and so?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "We have a nationwide warrant for your arrest." And he's like, "Fuck!" And he just stands up, puts his hand behind his back, and they cuff him and walk him out. And I'm on stage, and I just stop talking, and I'm watching like. And everyone just stops, like, the whole show, just like the record scratch, and everyone's watching this guy get walked out. And then everyone just turns back to me like, well,
Go on.
And I was like, are you guys aren't going to go with your friend, like, to the table? They're like, no, fuck him. And I was like, none of you even reacted. And they were like, yeah, it's Grande Prairie. And everyone like cheered. And I was like, where the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck? And I was just there on Wednesday, this past Wednesday. I co-headlined it with my pal Ryan. I did 45 minutes. And in 45 minutes, I did 14 shots and a beer. And I'm not a big drinker.
Oh my
because
God.
they just kept sending up drink, because that's what they do. Every time I go up there, they try to get me drunk, and then as I do the shots, they all go and try to get me to, and like I'm like, you guys aren't even getting jokes. I can't fucking stand up, and they all just love it. And then I'm like,
Really?
this is my job now. Like, what the fuck?
So are you guys even coherent up there?
No, by the end of it, I'm not, dude. Dude, it was the first time they got me really drunk up there. I did an hour, like I full out headline, and I was like, okay. I was so fucking drunk. I'm not a big drinker. Like that is that's a lot of booze.
That's a lot of booze in 45
But
minutes.
I was fucking wrecked.
That's a lot of alcohol for a fucking alcoholic.
Right?
man.
Yeah.
Like I was
In 45 minutes?
wrecked.
Yeah.
And so one night I'm up there, they gave me these shots. I'm fucked up, and I had like 5 minutes left. And I was like, okay, guys, we've had fun. I got one joke left, and I was like, contractually, I have to tell a joke, or I don't get my $40. Like, I guess that's one of the jokes I always make, is I don't make any money. I was like, so just please let me tell this joke. And everyone, I was like, you guys ready for a joke? Because I hadn't barely told a joke. And everyone's like, yeah, like they're like, let's go.
Yeah.
And the first line of the joke was, has anyone's mom ever said? Those are the first words of this joke. And so I was like, all right, you guys. I was like, has anyone's mom? And I just stopped, and like all the words were just, and I just to the microphone, and everyone just started applauding, and I was like, you know what, I'm fucking closing on that. And everyone like, wah! And I walked off the stage, and the manager Nicole was like, that was the best and worst show I've ever seen. And I was like, I know, and I'm not the only one. Comics know. So Grande Prairie can fucking break you. There's three types of comics. There's like the middle of the road comics that go to Grande Prairie and they get through their time and it's good enough. There are comics that go to Grande Prairie and it fucking eats them alive and they never go back again because it is a fucking vicious room. And then there are comics, and I'm not the only one. I know Sterling. You guys had mentioned we were talking about Sterling Scott before. Sterling has gotten fucked up in Grande Prairie.
Yeah.
A couple of the guys from here in Edmonton have gotten fucked up in Grande Prairie, and every time I go back now, I post about it on Instagram. I get people commenting. They're like, it's the only place I have a fan base is fucking Grande Prairie, because they're like, and I don't even think they think I'm funny. They're just like, we just really want to see the googly-eyed kid puke. Like that's all they want out of it, and like, and I love it. I fucking love it. It's my favorite show.
I was just gonna say, it's just like, can I tell a joke? And then just fucking hurl.
Yeah, that would be good. Let me tell a joke. Is there a waste bin around?
I've come close, man. I was up there with my pal Mark last year, and there's a bar right across. So the hotel you stay in is literally next door to the casino.
Yeah.
And then there's a bar, like a pub in the parking lot of the hotel. And so we leave the casino. And normally I'm very introverted. Like when I'm doing something like this or I'm doing comedy, that's like when I get it all out. And then as soon as I'm done, I just want to disappear. You know what I mean? Like I want to go back and read or play a video game and just hide. But I was so fucking lit up. We come off the stage of Grande Prairie and I was like, let's go get some more drinks. And Mark's like, yeah, okay, sure. And we went to this pub and got like a couple more beers and some wings and everything. And like a week later, I'm looking at my credit card and I was like, I was going to call the Den, that's the name of the bar, and be like, yo, someone like stole my credit, because I did not remember going to this fucking bar. And Mark was like, dude, you fucking insisted. And he's like, and you only ate like half your wings. He's like, you fucking can barely see. And then the next morning they give you this like crappy breakfast in the hotel there. Yeah. And it's like, so I always just get like a bagel with like some Cheese Whiz on it, because that's the only place I eat Cheese Whiz is in Grande Prairie. Because you want to talk about food from your childhood? You fucking Cheese Whiz, man. Yeah. But when you're hungover, Cheese Whiz is magic. And so I get a bagel, I cover it Cheese Whiz, I eat it. And then we're driving back to Edmonton. It's like a 4.5 hour drive. Yeah. And I've never felt so shitty. Like in my, like I'm like one eye is like half closed, and I was like, I could still feel the like booze like flowing through my body. And I was just like, this is the fucking best and worst job. I was like, why? How is this? That's one of those nights where you feel guilty, and you're like, this isn't even a fucking job. Like, what am I doing? So shout out to all my friends in Grande Prairie. I'm back there June 10th. And come out and let's get drunk, because I fucking love that show.
Awesome. That's hilarious.
So that's probably the worst. And Grande Prairie is the best. So
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. There's been some cool experiences. I got to do the Edmonton Comedy Festival last year, which was really dope, because I used to go to those shows, and then I got to be on the in the festival.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that's awesome.
So that was cool. I get to do some clubs. I don't do a ton outside of the Western Canada. I do a 3-week run every year now to Absolute Comedy, and they're in Kingston, Ottawa, and Toronto.
Oh, okay.
And that's really cool, just to get to do like the big clubs in like Toronto. And Ottawa is a gorgeous city. I fucking love Ottawa, and I have family out there, so I get to visit my family and stuff. But like a lot of comics, like, and I'm not shitting on them, but like a lot of comics, like their goals, they want to get famous. Like they want to end up moving to New York or LA. They want to get big. They want to get on TV and tour and all that stuff like that. And I swear to God, it's when I started saying this, I thought maybe I was saying it because I was afraid that I wasn't good enough to get famous. And maybe there is still a hint of that in me, but I really sincerely believe it now. Like I'm a 36-year-old man with a mortgage. I've got a girlfriend that I hate going on the road because I miss home. Like I get homesick really fast. All I want to do is just do corporate shows in Western Canada.
We can soundbite him pretty good on that one. I got a girlfriend I hate.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll say like, I have a girlfriend that I hate sometimes. She fucking knows. She hates me more. But like I've decided that's kind of what I want to do with my career. Is my goal is I work fairly clean, like I said.
Yeah.
And so that plays great, like small towns. If they want to do like a fundraiser for a fucking school or something, you know what I mean. So I kind of launched my own company now, where I book some of my own shows, and then because I can pay myself to headline, I get to pay my friends, and frankly, I pay my friends better than a lot of the other fucking
shows.
Like there's you know what? I don't work for him, so I don't fucking care. There's a fucking idiot named James Uloth, who's a comedian who used to live here in Edmonton, and then I think he was before I lived here, before I started comedy.
Yeah.
And then he moved to LA, I guess, so to try to be famous or something, and it didn't work. And now he fucking comes back here and does fucking fundraisers and pays the comics. I did a 4-show run with him and made like $270 for like 4 days work, and I had to buy all my own food.
Yeah.
And so like I basically broke even doing these fucking shows. And then he headlined all the shows, and he's a hack, and he fucking bombed every night, and it was terrible. And he comes up here and takes gigs from us, and then doesn't pay the comics anything. And I was like, well, that's bullshit. So I started AB Comedy, because that's my website. I was going to plug my website, like abcomedy.net, and you can go there, and I do fundraisers for just about anything. I book corporate shows, and I pay the comics as fairly as I possibly. Like a lot of openers, like, dude, you make $150 a show. You know what I mean? Like it's and the headliner can make a nice 4-figure payday, but you get like nothing. And so whenever I book a show, I usually divide the pay into 4 slices, and I try to give a quarter to the MC, a quarter to the opening act. I pay myself half to headline and to my trouble for booking the show. And I'm like, and I think that's a fair, because they're my friends, and I know what it's like to be an opener and not make any fucking money. I'm still an opener. Like I'm in that weird transition now where I'm trying to be a headliner, but I'm still kind of an opener. And I say it at every one of my shows, and I swear on my I always say I swear on my dog, because that's like my most prized thing in the world is my dog. I swear on my dog's life. Like I tell every one of these small towns, man, the funnest comedy shows there is either small town Saskatchewan or small town Alberta. Because it's just fucking good people. Everyone knows each other. They're just excited to have something to do. You can't offend them, dude. Like, not that I try, but like they're all just, fucking down to earth, redneck, fucking prairie people, and they're the funnest shows. And I've decided like that's all I want my career to be. And I want to make some money, and I try to save my money as best I can, because when my girlfriend's ready to retire, I was like, I don't want to do comedy anymore. I like it. I don't love it. There's comedians that love it, that are geeks, that watch comedy all the time, and there's all they, and like that's cool. Like you're a comedy geek, right? I'm a sports geek. They're comedy geeks. That's not me. Now that I've been doing it for 4 years, I'm like it's not. If I could quit comedy and make the same money doing just my video game podcasts and stuff, I would in a heartbeat. Because I'm more passionate about the video games. But I also know that doing comedy beats the shit out of driving a forklift. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
So now I've just turned it into I'm a straight up like. Do you guys watch? You guys don't watch pro wrestling, do you?
No.
Okay. Do you guys know who Brock Lesnar is?
Yes.
Everyone knows who Brock Lesnar is. So Brock Lesnar's been back in pro wrestling in WWE for like 8 years, and basically he never shows up. He only shows up half a dozen times a year, and when he does, he just beats everyone and leaves. And like it's basically his gimmick is he's like, I don't even want to be here. They just pay me a ton of money. I'm going to come. And I've become that of minus the ton of money. But I've become the Brock Lesnar of comedy. I'm like, I want to come in, I want to get paid, and I want to leave. You know what I mean? The only difference is I'm like, dude, it's so shitty. Like when you go to like a big scene and you're trying to get noticed by the clubs and you're doing all the, I'm not shitting on the guys that grind on Instagram and stuff, because I respect that, because that's what you got to do. You got to build a brand.
Absolutely.
There are clubs that won't even like, you can't get on their stage unless you got so many followers and all that. You know what I mean? Like you got to be a big deal. And I respect that hustle, but I'm like, that's not me.
That's not for you.
That's not what I want to do. Frankly, I'm not good enough at what I do to do that. Like my jokes aren't edgy. My jokes aren't going to blow up on Instagram. My jokes are just clean, fun. I do crowd work. I make fun of the small towns. I like to make fun of the small towns. When I go to Grande Prairie, I shit on Grande Prairie and all the little towns around it. And people like those, like, you know what I mean? Like people get into it because they're like, oh, this is like a show for us, right? And that's what I want my career to be. And if I can do that for another 25 years, and then when my girlfriend's ready to retire, I have enough money in the bank to not have to get up there and make my jokes anymore, then it's like, dude, it's been a slice. I'm fucking out. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
So that's what I've decided I want to do with my career. And now that I'm starting to do more and more of them, those are the fun. I was telling you guys when I walked in, you were like, "Do you have any shows this weekend?" And on Friday, I performed in a barn outside of Cremona, which is a village north of Calgary. And those people were fucking awesome. I made fun of being in a barn, and I made fun of their town. I was like, when you guys finish it, like, this is going to be a nice town. Like, it's just like, it's like a block of people, and they love it. And I was like, this is so much more fun than fucking sitting at one of these comedy clubs all night and getting drunk and, you know what I mean? Like, I just, I would rather do those small town shows.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome, man.
Dude, so you're not, you don't shy away or dislike the corporate gigs at all or whatever.
Not at all. And you know what, dude? I posted something about it one time because some comics hate corporates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Particularly corporates where you can't. Some of them, it's anything goes.
Yeah.
But some of them, like, hey, no swearing. You know, no. Some people don't want jokes about climate change, especially here in Alberta, right? Or they don't want political jokes.
Yeah.
Or they don't want,
for
the most controversial topics. You know, like abortion or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Fair.
Which is totally fine, right? But like, I'm of the mindset, like, yo, if you hire comics, you can put any. It's on the comic to say no. I'm not doing the show under those parameters. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I did post after my first corporate season. I remember posting in the comedians group, and some people agreed with me. I think some people didn't. But I was like, to you comics that like hate doing corporates, go get a real job and have to drive a forklift in a fucking shipping yard in 40 below for a month. And then if someone's like, hey, I'll pay you 2 weeks of what you would have made on that forklift for an hour of comedy, but you're not allowed to say the word fuck. You'll be like, I hate the word fuck. I don't even want to say that fucking word. Like,
I've never said that word
I'll
before.
sign. Yep, absolutely. I won't even say. I won't even make an F sound.
I won't even think it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like to me, I'm like, it's so much better than having a real job. Like, if you don't want me to swear or something, that's fine. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're a clean set, you have a clean style as well. It's
easy.
easier
it's
for
easier.
sure. But that's a very good point, right? Like, it's end of the day, you're getting paid to go stand on stage and make funny sounds, more or less, right? So,
yeah, man.
It's pretty awesome.
You know, and it is work. Like, I don't like to. I hate it when people are like, because I always joke about it too. People are like, "You're a comedian, you don't even have a job." You know what I mean? Like, I joke about it too. Because it's not. I'm telling you, like, and there's a lot of comics that never get a real job. From the time they're 17 or 18, they're doing comedy. And maybe they work a part-time job while they're trying to get their foot in the door with comedy. But like I worked a fucking job for 15 years. You know what I mean? And I'm like, some of you have never done that, and it fucking shows, because you don't know. Like, we're not entitled to, and I try to say that, like, we're not entitled to this phenomenal living. And I know I'm gonna catch some heat from some comics for it, but I don't care. Like, we're not entitled to make six figures, and we're not entitled to all this type of thing. We might get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is frustrating to see American comics come up to Canada and get more than we're getting, but we can't go to America and tell jokes for money without getting thrown in jail because you don't have a work visa down there. Like, it's so hard.
Is that a real thing?
Dude, it is. I don't know if you get thrown in jail, but it's so fucking hard for it's something like 10 grand to apply for a work visa as a comic in Canada.
Really?
And then you're not even guaranteed you'll get it.
Right.
And then once you get it, if you get it, now you've got to go down to the States and get noticed amongst all those fucking American
Really?
comics.
Okay. Wow.
Whereas, like, if a club or somebody here wanted to bring in an American comic, and I'm kind of talking out of my ass, I don't know the exact details, but it's something like you pay a couple $100, you pay something at like the airport or at something to like bring them in, and then it's like a temporary work visa, and then they're allowed to come in and work.
Really?
So
Okay.
for an American
Wow.
to come up here and rip it up, it's no problem. For us to go to the States, it's
very hard.
So fucked
Wow.
up.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking it's sick. So like, I'm not saying Canadian comics have it easy, because we fucking don't at all. But I mean it when I say, like, we're not just entitled to this great living. At the end of the day, like, we're not contributing a lot to society. Like, I mean, no, like, we like, people need to laugh. Art matters.
Yeah.
Humor matters. TV, comedy. You know what I mean? That shit matters.
Yeah.
But like, let's be honest. Like, the dude that is fucking up in Fort Mac digging oil out of frozen ground, or the fucking guy that's interrogating lawns off of his fucking phone, like, looking. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like, anyone, like, they're bringing a lot more to the table than we are.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't complain and act like you're entitled to make the same money and get the same benefits as a dude that's working outside all winter and doing his, like, a real job, you know, because you're not. You can get it, but you're not fucking entitled to it. And if you want the guarantee of the benefits and that money and everything, then go get a fucking job.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and like, that's the type of shit where, like, I know I'm going to piss some veteran comics off, but those veteran comics don't fucking work with me already, so I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, like,
That's pretty fair, man. I mean,
It's a perspective,
I get it.
Yeah.
It's all perspective for sure.
It's
right?
just a simple fact, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you guys are doing a podcast, and this podcast is fucking rad. But like,
No,
you're not sitting here being like, Well, what the fuck? How come we're not making six
Joe
figures a
Rogan
year in
buddies.
ad?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because you're not
exactly.
fucking entitled to it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
world, if this podcast wrapped up tomorrow, if Joe Rogan's got the biggest podcast in the world, I think most people would agree with that. It's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
If Joe Rogan's podcast disappeared tomorrow, the entire world would keep spinning without a hitch. We'd be like, okay, well, I can't listen to Joe
Very
Rogan
true.
anymore.
It was-
Do you know what I
it
mean?
sucks, but oh well.
So,
right? So
he's very
$100 million a year. Where the fuck is it, boy? Where the fuck is it?
yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. Like, if you
Yeah.
do what you want to do, and there's a way to do it and make good money, but like, entitlement fucking drives me crazy. You're not
Yeah,
entitled
absolutely.
to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And comedy is so fucking frustrating because you can't help but compare yourself.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about comparison,
Sure.
but it's so hard not
yeah.
to. It's so fucking, dude, at any job, if you're a salesman,
Yep.
you're comparing your sales numbers to the other salespeople,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then if one of them gets the promotion and you have better sales numbers, you're like, well, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
in a perfect world, comedy would be the funniest person gets to headline the shows, and then the
not
second
true at all.
funnest person gets to do this. And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just, hey, how many tickets can you sell?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Jeremy, did you guys watch Entourage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy Piven was, I think it's his name, was Ari, the dude
Yeah.
that played Ari.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was doing comedy. He fucking came to one of the clubs here, and apparently the show was not very. I didn't go, so I don't know, but apparently the show wasn't that good.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the dude can sell out a fucking
Right.
room because everybody wants to see Ari.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
And there's so many comics that are just like, so I can't get fucking. I'm trying to get booked in clubs, and I can't get in. But fucking Ari Gold can headline every club in the country and make bank doing it, and it's not based on
And that'd be
merit,
good, yeah.
but it's a business, and he
Yeah.
can sell fucking tickets.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is, right? So even in like, I don't know, that's kind of life. Like no matter what industry or whatever, there's gonna be people who like, is the absolute best person number one? Probably not.
Nope.
Actually, right?
Nope.
Like there's a lot of other factors.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It's
And again, I'm not trying to shit talk everybody, but a lot of the people I deal with in comedy haven't worked a regular job for a long time, so they just don't understand that's how fucking society
Yeah.
works. It sucks, you know. Even when I started, you know what? When I started getting booked early, and a lot of the reason I started getting booked early, people were like, it doesn't. I mean, if you're funny, that's a bonus, but like the headliner needs to be able to stand you, like being in the car with you,
Yeah.
and chances are you need to have a car, because a lot of comics don't drive, and they're like,
Yeah.
if you have a car and you're nice, you'll get work.
True.
And that's
True.
dude, I started getting work well before I was ready to work. Like from a funny point. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like the opening act's not going to fuck up the show. If you go up there and do 20 minutes and bomb,
Yeah.
it's the headliner's job to go up there and do an hour and
Yeah,
clean
exactly.
it up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But it's like I'm an older guy, so if you're an older comic, you don't want to go on the road with a fucking 22-year-old that is like going to be chasing waitresses and doing
And
coke. There's a
super
lot of
shit-faced.
them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Oh, yeah,
you're like,
for sure.
I want the 34-year-old who will drive well, and be ready to go back to the hotel as soon as the show is over. And like
Yeah.
just me. I'm
Yeah,
like, my
for
back
sure.
hurts and I'm tired and it's 9:30 and I've got a headache. I want to
Yeah.
go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's not all on merit. And so again, like to wrap it all up, what I'm trying to say is like these guys that are trying to get big and get famous and everything like that, that grind, I respect it, but it just turns me off so much because I'm like, it's not based on merit. It's based on, some of it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a lot about who you know and if they like you and can you sell tickets and being in the right place at the right time. And it's just such a fucking dog-eat-dog competitive world. Comedy is fun, man. Being on stage and having a good set is the fucking best feeling in the world. But the business side of comedy is fucking disgusting. It is
Absolutely.
a fucking disgusting industry.
Very cutthroat, I imagine, and stuff too.
It's
right?
ridiculous.
So, but then on that note, do you feel? Because I think in all of the entertainment industry, there's a little bit of a becoming a bit more of a free market, relatively. Like there's less gatekeepers and
100%.
stuff than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and then you see
100%.
guys doing like the YouTube and Instagram clip things who are now like Andrew Schultz is like an example I think of, right? Where like they've kind of just decided to say, forget it, forget these old school guys, and making certain promoters like me and kind of
Oh yeah,
bypassing that.
Like I'm a baby. Like I'm 4 years in, which in comedy world is like
Right.
I'm an infant. You know what I mean? But like I know that for a long time there were. I mean, even going back to like Carson and stuff. Like it was like
Yeah.
you had to get on Carson. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
if you
that
got
was
on
the-
Carson, and then if he waved you over to the couch after your set, you were made. Like he was a gate,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And he was gatekeeping, right? Those late night talk shows were gatekeeping and stuff like that. And it's obviously those things still help you,
Yeah.
but it's not like that anymore. When today's with the internet and everything, there are some phenomenal comics that have gone out and done it all completely on their own, which I respect the shit out of. You can like, dude, with the equipment in this room right now, if I wanted to, I could record a comedy album. You know what I mean?
Right,
I could record
yeah.
a comedy album. I just need a room full of people to laugh. And then I
Yeah.
could record a comedy album. I could put it on iTunes. I could put it on Spotify, on YouTube, send it to SiriusXM. Maybe they'll play it, shit like that.
Yeah.
And it used to be that like you needed someone to
do that for you,
to do it for you, to sign you, to put you on TV, to do all that, and you don't need that anymore. And that's not just comedy. That goes back to what we were talking about doing whatever it is you want to do. You know what I mean? You don't have to go get
podcast, music, whatever,
anything. You don't have to go get a fucking $400,000, $500,000 business loan to start a business anymore. You need $80 to pay for a website on Wix, and you can, you know what I mean? Like sign up for a free Twitter, sign up for a free Instagram. I think the internet is a toxic place. But it's the best and worst thing to happen to humanity.
It truly is.
In a long time.
That's what humanity is.
It's very
it is
yin
humanity.
and yang.
It is fucking humanity now. Yeah. It's opened the door for anyone to do anything they want as long as you're willing to put the work in. And I think as much as I hate the internet, I think that is so fucking cool. Like I have podcasts I listen to and YouTubers I watch and stuff like that, like blogs I read and shit like that I would have never found if they were all through fucking CBC, because nobody fucking knows anything from CBC, right? So
that's a good place to end it.
Yeah. Well,
fuck CBC.
Fuck CBC. And
honestly,
fuck James Uloff.
We're the new media here.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about one more thing that I read on your website. So you were in a movie recently? Are in a movie coming up?
Okay,
So now you're a comedian / actor, or
I guess so. I'm on IMDb. I have an IMDb page. It doesn't matter, but okay. So I don't tell this story very often because it's.
Is it out yet? The movie or
no? I don't think it's ever gonna come out. Like I hope it does.
Yeah.
So so there's a dude. What the fuck's his name? Michael Maxis. Mike Maxis. I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong, Mike. He's I think he wrote it, and I believe he's the director. He's a director from here in Edmonton. He owns, or at least he used to own, El Cortez. Down on White. Fucking really rad guy. Like he's directed some music videos, like some stuff to do with the Oilers and stuff. He's a fucking super cool guy. And so he went to the comic strip because he got like approved. He got like a grant from somebody to like make this movie. And he was like a professional, like really big, like cool fucking movie. Filmed right here in Edmonton. And he had I'm gonna forget the name of the star now. And I know it's fucking, I don't know anything about movies.
Keanu Reeves.
No, he's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
God.
Well, I saw because Cowboy Cerrone's
Cerrone's in it. Yeah, and then there's another dude. I'll try to keep talking while I look it up because I really like the guy and I don't want to fuck up and forget his name. But anyway, so Michael came to the comic strip, the club in the mall, and talked to the manager and was like, "Hey, I need a couple of guys to play some extras in this movie.
Sure.
I prefer them to be kind of funny." And he's like, anyone you think might be interested, give them this phone number and they can come down and like audition and stuff like that.
Hopper Penn?
Hopper Penn. That's it. It's Sean Penn's son.
Oh,
that's who it is.
They definitely look alike, actually, when you look at
And Hopper, I guess, has had some issues with drugs and stuff like that. And this was like one of his first like starring roles, and he was kind of trying to like clean himself up and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyway, so the manager of the comic strip reached out to some of the comics and was like, "Hey, if you want to go audition for this movie, do this." And he sent it to me, and I like right away ignored it because I was like, I don't want to act. I can't act. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And like I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a lot less self-conscious about it now than I used to be. But like I have my lazy eye, right? And so like I was like, if you see it on camera, you can fucking see it. And
right.
Now I don't care because I go on stage and make fun of it all the time.
Yeah.
But when we did this like 3 years ago, I was still I was like, I don't want to do it.
Right.
And my girlfriend's like, you should just go to the audition just to see what auditioning for a movie is like.
Sure.
Like, just go try it.
Yeah.
So I texted the guy, and he was like, yeah, I can set you up this date, come in and read a couple lines. And I was like, okay. So I went down, I read the lines, and I met Michael and a couple of them, and they're like, okay, well, thanks, we'll let you know, like, if we're going to call you back. And I thought that was it, and I left. And then he fucking called me a few days later and was like, hey, why don't you come in for a second reading? And I'm like, okay. Like, I didn't, okay. So I went down and did the second reading, and then I left. And then a few days later, he reaches out, and he's like, hey, Adam, we're doing a table read on, like, so-and-so date. Can you come down for the table read? And I was like, sorry, man, I got to work, because I had my day job still at the time.
Right,
I was like,
okay.
but thanks a lot for the offer. It was a really fun thing to try, and good luck with the movie. And because I really didn't understand what he's trying to say. And he's like, no, man. He's like, we gave you the part.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to miss a table read. But I only had like 2 or 3 lines. He's like, you're going to miss a table read. Don't worry about it, man. We'll catch you up later. Congrats. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I'm going to be in a fucking movie? Like, what? So then we go down and we shoot the day. And it was so cool. We got like this big trailer and they fucking fed us.
It was here in Edmonton?
Here in Edmonton, yeah. We filmed it at Albert's Restaurant on 109th.
Okay.
Kind of a really shady looking little like diner place.
Wait, on 100.
It's up the road from Arcadia. I can't think of what actual address is of it because I don't go downtown
109th Street?
Yes.
Albert. Oh, it must be up by Nate. I want to.
It
say
says, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like a
Anyways,
really shady
anyways.
little, like, you know, like
Sure.
a greasy spoon, like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
water.
for sure.
So we film it there, and basically the long and short of the story, because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say with it. So like the movie has like we reshot all the scenes like a year ago or a few months ago, and the movie still hasn't come out. My understanding is a lot of these projects can get stuck in development hell forever,
for sure,
right?
for sure.
But we go film the scene, and basically me and another comedian, we play these two guys that work at the Greasy Spoon, and so does Hopper's character, who's and we pick on him. We're always picking on Hopper, okay?
Yeah.
Like we write like I don't know what all I can say, but like so we pick on him. And then Cowboy Cerrone, who if you don't watch UFC is like a very very established like great UFC fighter. He just fought Conor McGregor like a month ago.
Yeah.
He got his ass kicked, but he fought Conor McGregor. So anyway, so he is Hopper's older brother. And so we pick on Hopper, we pick on Hopper, we pick on Hopper, and then finally Hopper goes and gets his older brother, and his older brother comes back and beats the fuck out of us. And so when I went in and read these lines, I had no idea that I was doing stunt work or like fighting. But then the day of the scene, we go in for like rehearsals, and they put all these pads under like our clothes, and they're like, so Cowboy's gonna beat the shit out of the first guy, and then I'm gonna run over and grab him, and then he's gonna kick me in the stomach, and I'm gonna hit a wall, and then he's gonna pull me off the wall and elbow me in the chin and knock me out, and then he's gonna like leave with Hopper and like just leave us laid out. Because we're like the two pieces of shit that have been picking on his brother, right? And so I'm like, and we were there for like 12 hours. We probably shot the scene like 20 times because it's like shoot it again, shoot it again, shoot it again.
Yeah.
And on the very last take of the day, he kicks me, and then they tried to film it from a different angle. So instead of me hitting the wall, I was gonna just be in an open area. And after he pulls me up to elbow me, a third guy is supposed to run in and be like, "What the fuck, man?" And then he leaves. And the guy missed it. And the guy that fucking ran in, who missed his cue, was the stunt director. Okay? And so Cowboy kicks me. He pulls me up. And Cowboy is a world-class, dangerous, trained fighter. Like, his kicks, you can feel the wind going by from these fucking boots. And you're like, whoa. Like that would fucking kill a man.
Yeah.
Cowboy grabs me by the shirt, pulls me up. And as he goes to throw this elbow at my chin, the stunt director misses his cue, runs in early, bumps into me from behind. I get pushed forward. And the next thing I remember, I wake up and Cowboy's holding me up by the armpits, and my legs have gone like spaghetti, and I'm just out. And I guess I was only out for about 10 seconds, is what the guy said.
Damn.
Like, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And Cowboy's like, "Dude, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." I was like, "I'm good." And he like stands me up, and when he lets go, I just fell over because I didn't know who the fuck I was. So they took me out to this ambulance, and they're like,
shit.
It's like it looked like I had a concussion, and my jaw got all fucked up, and yeah. So Cowboy felt terrible because like he's a pro, and that wasn't his fault. That was that fucking guy bumped me forward.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it, but the guy said that Cowboy, like, because they had to film one more scene, and Cowboy's like, "I gotta know if that guy's okay. Like, I gotta know if that guy's okay." So they came out to the ambulance, and they're like, "Hey, Cowboy wants to know if you're all right." And I said, "Just ask him if his elbow's fine," which like was me trying to be funny. But yeah, like I got, dude, I'll show them to me afterwards. I got pictures on my phone of me with Cowboy at the scene.
That's awesome.
And in the first picture, it's after he knocked me out, and in the first scene, my eyes are like, I look drunk, and they were like, "Dude, we got to retake the picture." They're like, "Really, just wake up." And Cowboy's like, "Yeah, man, come on." Like slaps me in the face a little bit. I like open my eyes and smile. We take the picture, and as soon as the picture's over, it was just like, oh. And so I did that acting, and the movie still hasn't come out. It actually was a really good payday because we worked like 12 hours. I got stunt pay plus actors pay plus overtime.
Wow,
it was
sick.
a really cool experience. But I hated it. I'm not a good actor.
Yeah.
It was boring. And then they offered me a membership in ACTRA, which is the Alberta Actors Guild. But you got to pay to like join their union.
Right.
And my girlfriend's like, "You should really sign up. It's a couple $100 a year." And I was like, I don't want to. I'm never gonna act again. I fucking hate it. I don't want to do it. So I threw it out. It's long expired. I can't join now. I'm a Ghostbusters super fan, and I don't know if you guys know this, but they filmed the new Ghostbusters down near Calgary last summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's coming out this like fall, I think, but they filmed it down near Calgary. And ACTRA was more than likely going to provide all the extras for this movie. And so I was like, if I had joined, I would have given them my entire pay from Puppy Love, which was a nice 4-figure paycheck to get to be a walk-on extra in Ghostbusters. Like that would have been the most coming of circle.
Cool.
I would have like Cowboy can knock me out again. Just let me be in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
So I put it in my bio because it makes me sound more credible. You're like, "Oh my god, you worked with Hopper Penn and Cowboy Cerrone." Where in reality, I was in like 2 scenes for about 4 minutes in a movie that probably will never come out, and I sucked and I got beat up and got a concussion.
Damn.
So that was the story. But I put it in my bio because you got to have stuff to make you sound more credible than you are.
Right?
Dude.
So like this podcast is going in my fucking bio.
appreciate
Adam
it.
Blank was a long and hard. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But yeah, so that's my acting. I don't tell that story much. The comic I was with Nick tells everybody because he thinks it's so cool that Cowboy knocked me out, right? And my dad loves that fucking story just because he saw me get beat up. He fucking loves it. But I don't tell it. I don't tell it. Because I'm like, I feel like it's name dropping. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, we're not friends.
I would say no,
right?
But
we're not friends.
Fair
like
enough,
Hopper and Cowboy don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm scared of elbows now.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's a good story. It's good. There's other people who would be in that situation and like think they had made it, honestly, right?
Yeah.
This is so good.
And I realized like acting is not for me. No, I'm an off camera.
Yeah. Guy. And you had to reshoot it, or
yeah. No? So then we reshot it this year. Basically the whole fucking scene. I don't know if there was a problem with the editing or what, but Cowboy came back and Hopper came back and
oh really?
Yeah, we took a few hours and we basically just reshot the whole thing. And no injuries this time. Nice. He was fuck yeah, and he remembered it. He was just
about to say, did you remember?
Yeah. And I was just every time he went to like they only actually threw the elbow like once. They were just like, we got to get it one, but they were like, we're not doing it anymore because I couldn't help but flinch. Like I was trying so hard to like, because he kicks me first, so I'm supposed to come out like I hit this wall, and it's like I stand up like I got the wind knocked out of me, and you know what I mean? You're kind of like, what the fuck? And then he elbows you, and I just couldn't help it. Every time he fucking braced back, it was like, so they were like, just get through it one time, and then we're good. So so we reshot it. I really hope it comes out. Like Michael, it's like his lifelong passion project. He worked so hard on it. Everyone that was in it, but I don't know if it'll ever.
I guess we'll potentially come into a theater.
Yeah, maybe someday. So. Every once in a while, one of my buddies will be like, yo, when's that movie? Because everyone wants to see me get beat up. I think that's why I got the part. I've said that before. I'm like, I think I've got a very beat-upable face. And they were just like, you know what? He looks like the type of shithead that you want to see get punched in the mouth. And that's why I got it, I think. So, maybe, I don't know.
So
anyway,
look for the movie when it comes out.
Yeah, if it ever comes out, I'll plug the shit out of it.
Nice.
So.
For sure. Awesome. Well, I think that's probably a good note to call it an episode.
Yeah,
so,
here's your chance to plug yourself.
You want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, it's better. I guess it's a better ending than fuck CBC. Okay?
Not really.
No, CBC is pretty crappy. So, you guys, I'm a comedian. I'm here in Edmonton. I host Monday nights at the Comic Strip in West Edmonton Mall. Battle to the Funny Bone. I host every Monday. Cool. You can also find all my upcoming shows at abcomedy.net. That's my website. You can find my podcast there. I've got my video game podcast, Remember the Game, and I have a new wrestling podcast, Wrestling with Wrestling. That's not going nearly as well, but that's fine. And then on Twitter and Instagram, I'm at AdamBlank17. I follow everybody back, and as I'm just a whore for followers, and we can talk on there and be friends. So,
awesome.
Sounds
cool.
good, man.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much
so much for coming.
This was a good time.
Killer.
Take care.